Good evening, everyone. It's Jose from LTEL Cockerel here on with Colin from Talk and Ball. Colin's just stepped away a moment. He will be back in a second. Show tonight is to have a chat and have opinions and thoughts on what happened today. What happened today? Today, for those that have not been in the world of the living, we lost at home 2-1 to Wolverhampton Wanderers. I'm having a bit of chocolate. Let's welcome some people in. We got Talk and Ball. No, Colin's put down, it's not us. Good evening, Jim. Jim's saying, I'm drowning my sorrows in a hot chocolate. I'm having a chocolate bar. Daniel Lee, straight off the bat. Unacceptable performance from the team today, and that also includes Ange. A clinical team batters us 5-1 today. You can be open at the back. I get it. Ange's football, but this is actually getting ridiculous. Jazz Fusion, good evening, mate. Say, gin is better, Jim, but sorrow is wasted on this outfit. It is what it is, and it is what it is never good enough. Jazz Fusion goes on to say, mustn't criticise the scared cow Daniel. And then he says, good evening, Jose. It's from Jazz Fusion again. And welcome back, Sanchez. I hope you're feeling well, mate. After hearing your news yesterday, I hope you're feeling much, much better. We have JJ saying, oi, oi, evening all. Blimey, we're bloody terrible. Call blimey. Sanchez is saying, well pissed off with Ange, man. I'm drowning the day with a smoke and a cuppa. And Wayne is coming. Good evening, Wayne B. is coming. A disappointing and embarrassing performance. Subs made too late. We need a plan B. It is what it is. We'll do what we do this season. And then you have Spurs GCTV saying, evening, Jose, not sure what to say. And Sanchez is saying, hello, Colin. Hello, Colin. How are you?
Doing well. Doing good. Thank you for making sure we got started on time. I appreciate you, man. But yeah, I've been better. That match was sure shit. But we move. I have a lot of talking points that I wanted to get through. And we have a beautiful, beautiful soul joining us today. What is up, Chris? How's it going, buddy?
Hey, how are things?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. How are you, Chris?
Yeah, sorry I'm late.
Well, I know it's okay. It'll be allowed this time. Next time it happens, it'll be a demerit.
You must have been in the same car or the same train or the same bus as Colin.
I was late. I don't know.
Yeah, I was following him.
Yeah, I gave him directions. Yeah, but shit, guys, not good. Not a good day at the office.
No.
We've got to lay it bare, mate. Yeah, we have to lay it bare, right? I'm not messing about. Today we lay it bare, right?
Yeah.
Would you say, would the chat and my two fellow co-panelists here, would you agree that 25 games is a decent enough sample size?
I think after 25 games, you should be seeing something.
To make a judgment, to make a judgment of where we are and what we're doing, because
in my opinion, it's not enough.
Okay, so what is enough then, Chris?
Get to the end of the season, judge the first season. I know it's 13 more games, right? But 13 more games
could be
can put you at least somewhere to show where your deficiencies lie. And to either prove or disprove that you need a squad revamp, that obviously this first season is not enough and it isn't where the team needs to be under this manager. And if this manager is what you really want, because you've given him a 4-year contract, you've given him the trust. Yeah. And obviously, if you're going to see out 4 years with Richarlison as your number one, you know, as your starting 11, number 9, you're not going to make top 4 consistently. You know, etc., etc., etc. So you need good backups for whenever people get injured, whenever people get red carded, or cards or whatever. And we don't have that squad depth, unfortunately. You've got potentially good players, but you haven't got the squad depth. So,
Well said.
So that's my opinion. But 25 games is impossible. I don't think you can.
Okay, so today, let's talk about. I'm going to talk today. Today we had Son, Richarlison, Kulu, Werner, Johnson, Hill as our attackers. The midfielders we had Bassar, Bissouma, Maddison, Bentancur, Lo Celso, Skip, Højbjerg. Defenders, we had the 4 that started today, plus Dragusin. Let's take on board the 2 that were out injured, right? That gives us a lot of players to choose from, right? Now, I'm looking 25 games in. I look at what Ange did and obviously Ange had 3 seasons or 2 seasons at Celtic, and his first season was the bedding in period. But you saw green shoots in his first season at Celtic, and his second season, he blasted it. Chris, after 25 games, right, I'm still scratching my head. Every time someone asks me for a prediction, I'm hoping that we just play for 2 halves. And then the score line will come and follow because we've played for 2 halves. Now, I reckon that this year, the nearest that we've got to playing 2 halves is Burnley, Newcastle. Apart from that, I haven't seen us put together 2 solid halves. We've done 1 half, or we've done the other half, or we've done
a lot of
no
those
half.
matches we've done neither,
or we've done neither. So therefore, to me, 25 games for me is enough sample size to think to myself, obviously we need to understand, or Ange needs to understand his squad, and I think he already understands his squad. I think he understands his squad already, right? And we may have, as fans, we want to see X, Y, and Z. We don't see what Ange sees on the training pitch. It could well be behind the scenes, Ange knows himself that we have round pegs for square holes at the moment.
He's not a fool. He's not a fool.
But how many round pegs for square holes do we actually have? Because we made signings in the summer. We've made a few signings now in the winter. We've outed some players as well. We've moved players on and that. I've got no doubts that the squad will change again in the summer. That we'll get some more additions and we'll let some more go. But looking at 25 games, I'm thinking to myself, and only Ange can answer this, is how many of them players does he really want? How much of them 25 players do we still need to get out of the club to get him the squad that he wants? Because
Jose, a really good journalist, i.e., what you could do is you could seduce him and then have him give you this information.
But the thing is, though, guys, the thing is, and I'll leave it to you two to answer and have your own thoughts about it. To me, after 25 games, we know all these players we've got. We know we've got players that can play multifaceted positions and do X, Y, and Z. But today, again, I watched us today, and it was lackluster. It's as if we'd not played together. Now, I know that we lost a Doggy and Porro, right? But the 2 that came in, and I must say, I don't think Ben Davies did that badly today coming in.
No.
Doesn't
I
do
feel like that's a commonly thing said. That's said about him a lot. Is he didn't do that bad today, and it's because he's not that bad of a player.
But he doesn't do what a Doggy does, right?
No.
But he done okay today for me. But in saying that, 2 players, we lost 2 players, 2 fullbacks. You've got 2 players that come in. The 2 players that come in have been there from day one. They've not been injured. They've been there from day one. So the patterns of play, what your coach taught on the training pitch, these 2 guys have been there all throughout and been coach trained. So they understand the system.
They're just not good enough, Jose. They're just not good enough.
No, that's right. They're not good enough because I've got loads. Well, I've got loads. I've written down as I did, even for my channel or for guest appearances, whatever. I've made notes about. I went through. I watched the game. I made notes, and Emerson is because there are 2 there are two big losses that he made that stand out like sore thumbs. And he, under pressure, he doesn't cut the mustard, you see. And whether he has played for Barcelona, for Brazil, for Betis, for whoever he has in Brazil, whenever he's caught in a, there you go, you can't cut the yellow mustard there. Whenever he comes under a high press, like he was under today, he gets too nervous, right? He might be an international player, but sometimes you're just at that tiny step below the starting 11, which is Borro, and you are a sub for that reason, because there are certain details that you can't handle, right? There are certain balls that you can't control with the inside or the outside of your foot that make you a sub and don't make you a starter, you see. And these kind of things could lose you a game, could provoke a counter attack from your opponent that could put you 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 2-1 up, or 2-1 down, and create problems. And this is why Emerson is a big sore thumb for me. And that means that he has to go. He's one of those problems. Ben Davies had a great game, in my opinion. Okay, with all the flaws that team had, he was, of the two subs that came in for Udogie and Pedro Porro, he was the better out of the two because it wasn't difficult.
He's the better player. He's just a better player. When you put him and Emerson
consistent.
up in every single category, Ben Davies is better. No offense, and I know that people might disagree with that, but I don't think that there's a category that Emerson is better than Davies in football.
I'm interested. Chris has taken some notes, so I'm interested. I'm going to come back to Chris. I just want to say hello. Let's catch up with the chat, and then we'll.
Yeah, I didn't know where you got while I was gone, so thank you for that.
So Audio Artisan says, "Evening, chaps. Good evening, Audio." Jazz Fusion says, "O'Neill gets it. If I can take away your pace, I take away your space." Mark Cousins is coming. Hi, Sheriff, says Jose Cole, Chris, big up. I can't remember earlier. I'm a granddad.
Must be one of the nice things about me. Maybe I should hurry up and be a granddad because I can remember earlier.
Sanchez says, after 25 games, we shouldn't be losing to Wolves at home.
Big up, Sanchez.
Daniel Lee says, 25 games in, you're supposed to see more of an element of people getting used to what Ange is wanting, not a decrease in their understanding of the football. Good evening, Barbaric Disdain. Good evening. Chris is back with us. Chris, do you remember Barbaric? I'm sure you do.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. How can I forget?
Good evening, Barbaric. Daniel Lee is raging after today's
something told me you'd be raging after today's shit show, Daniel. I'm not surprised. Let's put it that way.
Spurs GCTV is it me, or are we just lacking the energy and buzz we had in the early games? Are we still seeing the lasting effects of squad disruption following the Chelsea game? Swimmaster. Hi, Swimmaster. Is this 2-week break will do us good? On a positive, if we beat Palace at home and the crucial match with Aston Villa, we suddenly look good again for top 4 and go for it next season. Michael Zachariah says, United coming. Good evening, Michael. How are you, mate? It's been a while. You have
United fan in here.
Daniel Lee is agreeing with some of what I've said. Jazz Fusion says, how many did he add? We've got Jazz saying again, the FB slowed down progression. Daniel Lee is these last two home
fullbacks. Does he mean the fullbacks?
Yeah,
I think so.
Is that okay?
Yeah. These last two home performances recently, especially, should really get people worried. We look lost on the pitch. I can't swear at the moment because we're getting monetized, so I can't swear. So you lot have put it there, but I can't repeat what you're saying. Right, Dry Roasted Peanut. Good evening, Dry Roasted. I did get your predictions, by the way, Dry Roasted. Our two fullback replacements are better centre backs than they are attacking fullbacks. Jazz Fusion says the roster is predominantly, and I'm not going to say the word for now. Ronnie, good evening, Ronnie. Hi, guys. That was shocking. Just a repeat performance from last week, but today we never got away with it. Ben, good evening, Ben, says Ange has to change his style of football. Audio Artisan says, considering the drastic attempt to change the style, mentality and squad, this whole season has to be a write-off. Anything above last season is a bonus. The squad still needs a lot of work.
Yeah.
Daniel Lee is saying, The last time Wolves done a league double over us in 1979, this is bloody embarrassing. Daniel, you're coming out with some big stuff tonight, boy. Sanchez is saying evening to Chris.
Hi. Nice to be
Dry,
here.
dry roasted peanut saying, being a striker in an AND system is probably the easiest position to play. Press and tap in the chances from 5 yards. Richarlison can't even combine any play without losing the ball. Derek Hutchison, Ange has no tactical nous.
No, I don't agree with that.
Ben is saying we are so easy to play against, put 4 in midfield and it stops any momentum. Jazz Fusion, Peanut on a good Ange squad, his only role would be header and low blocks. And Elias, good evening, Elias, says, sorry guys, but Emerson's not good enough for this club. So, going to go back to you, Chris. So you said that you took loads of notes on the game today.
Yeah.
What else did you notice apart from, well, everyone sees football different. Everyone sees football differently.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've just finished doing a coaching course and that. So I'd be interested in finding out what you thought on what you've written down today.
Right. Basically, the link-up play, right? The link-up play between Spurs and Wolves was totally on two different worlds, because they knew exactly what they had to do and they kept the ball flowing, right? And they had their ideas very, very well drilled. When we had the ball, we couldn't link up play. Yeah, we could ping the ball out, that's fine, but then what? There's no the final third. We didn't do anything in the final third. And whenever you could do like a little combination, which is called link up play. We couldn't finish that off, and we were like stumbling over each other, right, in the box, for example. I remember 2 or 3 at least. That was in the first half. You saw Wolves come out on the counter attack. Their link up play, their combinations were very, very good. They were very straightforward, but they were direct and to the point, which is why they created so many problems for us, and that made us nervous, which to me gave them the edge over us in the first half. Clear and concise, and we were totally nervous and didn't know what to do. Plus Emerson just cocked a lot of things up. Second half we came out, and Ange must have given them a good old going over in those 15 minutes, because we came out, our link-up play totally changed. We started linking up, and where did the goal come from? Link up. He was an opportunist to get the goal, to put it through the keeper's legs and to get that far to the byline. Great, you have to take those opportunities, but it all came through link-up play. The gameplay was a lot smoother, it was a lot more fluid than it was in the first half. And we had, in the first 2 minutes, I've got written down here, 3 attacks in the first 2 minutes, which we didn't have in the whole first half, or as an exaggeration. But so it's all about game fluidity, the link-up play that Wolves had over us, and you could see that in the second goal, which is a complete clear attacking transition from defense to counter attack. It was an attacking transition, and they basically mullered us, and our defense was nowhere to be seen. Bissouma was looking, I don't know where he was looking, but Nuno Gomes came in and he just scored on his own. So, I mean, absolutely awful, terrible.
For the goal they got from the corner.
Sorry?
See, I was going to say, from the goal they got from the corner, Chris, right? I counted 10 players, Tottenham players, in the 6-yard area. Right? And Kulu was hovering on the edge of the box. So we had all 11 players back. Only Kulu was on the edge of the box. The rest of the 10 players for Tottenham were all within the 6-yard box. And I think within the 6-yard box, I think they probably had 4, maybe at a push 5 men. I'll have to see the freeze frame again. And the guy who scored the header was just outside the 6-yard box on his own. So basically,
he was totally on his own. The nearest man to him, as far as I can remember, if I can do rightly, was Sarr. He was hovering. He went to the front. He didn't know who to mark, and when that ball was pinged in over his head, the goal was already in the back of the net. I mean, it was already in the back of the net, the ball. So, and he was already celebrating, and Sarr didn't even know what hit him.
I think what I'm trying to get to, Chris, and Colin, is if you have 10 people in your 6-yard area of your own team, then
Yeah, the goalkeeper.
if you
the goalkeeper
if you
box, yeah.
if you're marking 9 of their outfield players, so you made it 19 players. So it's 10 because we've got a goalkeeper. 9
Yeah.
outfield players, and they've got 9 outfield players, and they score from it. Then okay, fair dues. But we actually had 10 of our players in that 6-yard area, and only 5 of theirs. And so therefore, we had 5 players in effect that were doing jack, and that guy still got the free header. That's what I'm trying to get to. So the setup.
That's called defensive complacency.
Yeah, it's the defensive setup, and what we did, we just weren't switched on. We couldn't have been switched on because otherwise we would know that we had that 6-yard box overloaded for the amount of players that they had. We had double the amount of players that they had, yet the guy got a free header. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, total free header. He was totally unmarked.
Yeah. So sorry, just
and he's
before
like
you carry on,
5'7".
Just before you carry on, let me just catch up with some more because I don't want to lose the chat. So
No, go for it. Yeah.
Elias is saying, we as fans deserve much better than the crap like Emerson Royale. No fan should ever accept atrocity like Emerson Royale and the mighty Tottenham.
Fans don't accept or say no to players. They are put there by other people. But anyway.
You've got Chris Agenbar saying, big up Colin, Jose and Chris. Ronnie's coming with, what am I seeing at the moment is not swashbuckling football that people say we are playing. Jazz Fusion says, dump the ball to the flats and off to the races. Elias says, Ange had an option to play Dragusin on the right today, but he chose Emerson Royale, and this atrocity is on him for this game. Ben, who was at the game, says Wolves were fantastic today, by the way. Gary O'Neill drilled them to perfection.
That be a thing? That can be a thing sometimes. You know, we can play bad, but other teams can also play well. And so at the same time, I don't think Spurs played well. I think Wolves played well. So both things can be true. And Wolves played a good game.
You've got Adrian saying good evening. Adrian was also at the game. Barbaric says Kulu's shocking passing is getting so frustrating.
His shot was pretty sick, though.
Swim Master saying, Ange has said in the past this is how he plays. He's not going to change. Ronnie says, I can't remember the last time we played well in both halves. This is something I alluded to right at the start. Now, if anyone saw me on the pre-match show on the Irish Hotspur this morning, it's exactly what I said. If anyone saw my prediction for the game on the fan reaction predictions that I did for the Irish Hotspur, and I did it on Thursday, exactly what I said. I said, what I want to see is us play for 2 halves. We've not seen it this season. I want 30 minutes in each half that we're bossing it and that we're playing at a tilt for 30 minutes in each half. So that means 2/3 of the game we're playing at full tilt. That's what I want to see. And that's what I was asking for today, because I'm sure that if that happens, then it'll have a knock-on effect and it'll roll on and we'll do it the next game, because then we've got it in our heads that we can do it. But we just got to start doing it. And that's why I'm saying sample size of 25 games, I believe, is a good sample size, or a good enough sample size to say, look, we're just not doing it. We've done it in 2 games out of 23. Paul Brown's in. He says, LBH, nothing has changed at TFC, mentality, etc. ENIC do not care. Just looking at the crowds exiting. Tottenham Hotspur Football Club shopping bags everywhere. So does it really matter how we perform on the pitch? Interesting. I certainly look to see how we perform on the pitch, and I'm sure that my panelists do as well. And quite a few in the chat want to see how we look on the pitch. Whether that's the case for everyone, I'm not too sure, but that's what I think. Ronnie says. Ronnie says.
I would take.
Sorry, let me just catch up with the chat and then I'll pass it on to you guys. Ronnie says, how good is Neto? Miles better than anything we have. Neto did play well today and he wasn't at full tilt today. He wasn't at full tilt. Which is why I don't get upset, Paul. Adrian saying good evening again. Eric Ten Hag's here saying hi, Jose and Colin. Hi.
I think, yeah.
Daniel Lee is saying we're a team who takes more risks near our own area than the opposing team's area. Ben is saying if Ange cannot change his style even a bit, that is a massive problem for us. We cannot play Davis and Emerson as inverted fullbacks. Davis was good today. They are not technically gifted at all. Jazz says that Son was bullied out of the way to create the free header. Derek Hutchinson says The way Wolves played today was down to the Wolves manager doing his homework on Spurs. It's called tactical nous. Swim master. The players often look tired. I know Ange's tactics is very demanding, but we're only playing once a week. Better players in, less demanding training, or dare I say, Ange not the man. Adrian Striker saying we didn't have inverted fullbacks today, so no Ange ball. Ben is saying against the teams that flood the middle of the park, we have to go down the sides and stretch the pitch to suit our game. Jazz is coming. We haven't played Ange ball in months. What they play now is Poch ball with some poster principles. Adrian Stroker saying we had 71% possession, but we were too passive on the ball. Michael, we know that you're a United fan. United's coming for your spot. Good evening, David Clark from Leicester. The one thing having three at the back would stop them hitting deep balls to the flanks to their wing backs. But I would not have played second choice inverted fullbacks. I would have played all four of our midfielders. Swim Master says, what's happened between the first 10 games and now? And then we've got Niall saying, big up to everyone. And then Jazz Fusion saying, Swim, they got found out by the league. Colin, I'm going to come to you because you've not said much at the moment. So what's your take on this, mate? You can see all the comments. You can see all the comments we've got. You can see all the comments that we've got in the chat. What Chris has been speaking about, what I've been speaking about. What are your thoughts?
Well, I want to see if there are any points in particular, real quick, I would like to address. Well, yeah, I mean, it was a bad match. Clearly, anybody with eyes will tell you it was a bad match. I don't want to try to tell you otherwise. You know, we don't look, especially. We don't have the players to play this system if everybody's not fit, and even when everybody is fit, we still don't quite have the players for this system. So you have an injury or two key injuries, and things are just going to look bad right now. That's this season. We were blessed at the beginning, and everybody was fit. You know, someone said, "What's the difference between the first 10 games and now?" Well, we had everybody fit and firing and playing together and all firing on the same cylinders. We got players back. When they were back, they were coming back from an injury. They're worried about their fitness. They're coming back into a team where people have taken their spot. They're having to earn their spot back. They're having to kind of relearn the patterns of play in the system. So of course they won't look as good. I'm looking at you, Madison. I'm looking at you, Bentancur. And so I think that's the difference between the first 10 games and now. And I know, because we've technically before today, we had our full 11, full starting 11 back, but they didn't look great. And I think that's just due to lack of playing time together, time out injured, and then coming back from the injuries themselves. Not easy to do, not an easy thing, especially like somebody alluded to, that our manager expects a lot physically out of these fellas. And so I don't know, have we been found out by the league? I don't think so, because I don't think that it would have taken anybody that couldn't watch some tape from Celtic last year to have found out what Ange was going to do anyway. So found out by the league, Jazz, I don't think anybody got found out by the league. I think he was found out already. But anyway, Chris, I turn it over to you, my friend.
Cool. Thank you.
Yes, sir. That's it, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm done. How does he say? What do I say? And that's it. I'm done. Back to you. Back to you, Chris.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree with both of what you said. I think that if you want to compare Ange's the way of playing, his style of play, a style of play is ingrained in the way you see football. Every manager sees how you want to play, right? So you've already envisioned the way you want to play, right? So he's never going to change that. I think there was a comment, I'm not sure if it was Ben, hi to Ben, said that he has to change. That's his vision that he's had ingrained from when he was a player, right? The way that someone plays as a manager, tactically, whatever, really does come down to what you've got available, right? So Wolves played today, hitting us on the break, yeah, which is an attacking transition, okay, counter attack as we all know it, because they've got the pace to do that. They've got the quality up front to do that. Be that Pedro Neto, be that Nuno Gomes just behind him, whatever, because they're technically able to do that, right? They're tactically able to do that because they've got the players to do that. You can't ask Richarlison to do that because he's not fast like that. He's lumpy. He's like a thick custard. He's all right in the air. He can score you a couple of goals in the air, and he can, if he's sometimes in front of goal, I've never liked him. I've always said that he's not a number 9 for Spurs. I've never liked him. But if you've got better,
You never even liked him. You
got
don't even
better-
like him, like
No,
not as a friend even. Like not even
No.
but like.
nah, not even as a third cousin.
Wow.
But
Wow.
no, but he's just not as versatile enough for me as a number 9 for Spurs.
I'm telling him.
No.
I'm telling him. You said so.
You can tell him. You can give him my number. But I just think that you play with what you've got. You see, and you play to your strengths with the tools that you have. So for Ange to fully put into play the way that he played at Celtic, for example, which is very Ange ball, which is very, he'd need players that break, coming from in between the lines, like Kyogo as a false 9, for example, or break, coming into the half spaces, running up and down the channels all the time, which is what your inverted fullbacks do. If you don't have them tools, you're not going to be able to implement your style 100%. See, so that's why I was saying before, yeah, we're 5th, we're 6th, we're whatever we are after this weekend, depending on tomorrow or whatever. But we're never going to be, top 4, top whatever, because we don't have those tools. Yeah, they might be Premier League players, but they're not adept enough for what Ange wants to do. The manager's fine. The manager knows what he wants to do, and he's very consecrated manager. He knows what he wants to do up here. He's savvy enough. He just needs the right tools, in my opinion.
Okay, so right, so it can be the manager, it can be the players, right?
It can be the manager as well. I'm saying,
Yeah.
but I don't think it is.
I said that we've got 25 games now played, so to me it's a decent sample size. I've been crying out for 2 halves to be played of good football, or at least half an hour in each half, which gives you 2/3 of the game of playing front foot and proper football, where it's not harem and scarum, right? We're now saying that, I do agree with some of the comments made that the players probably don't all suit what Ange wants, but we can't keep saying this, or can we? Because we have a squad of 25 players, and from the players that we've been seeing for the first 25 games, is it the majority of the players wrong then? The majority of the players shouldn't be in our side. It shouldn't be in our squad.
Like half of them, yeah, probably about half.
But that's a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely not a good thing.
That's a lot of people. So therefore, if that's the case, and we've got so many people that we need to change or replace in order to get what Ange wants and what Ange needs to play his football consistently, then clearly for me, if it's that many players that we're talking about, then we ain't going to be playing his brand of football next season either, because we're not going to make that many changes. We can't make that many changes in the summer.
I don't know. I can't answer that because I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
I can go ahead and answer it. I can say for sure 100% Jose is wrong. Jose is incorrect. That's all I can say for sure, but I can say that for a fact. No. I don't know. Jose, I think the players are wrong, but I'd say that he's doing a pretty good job with a lot of the wrong players that shouldn't be in our squad right now. I think you get some of them out, you get some better players in. we do well with injuries, I think we could see Ange ball next season. We got pretty unlucky with injuries this season. You have to admit that. I think normally a team could do better, could have better luck when it comes to the injury situation.
But the thing is, though, Colin, the three that we have playing up front today, who were the three that we had up front playing for us the first 10 games of the season, them three didn't look right before, and they don't look right now. And you can throw in your Werner, you can throw in Johnson, it just doesn't look right. There is something missing up front, doesn't look right. The midfield doesn't look right. To play the system that he wants to play, we just don't look right because it's 25 games and only played in 2 of them 25 that I can stand out and say, yeah, I remember we played it, we dominated the game, we played the game. And that was when we played Newcastle and when we played Burnley. I can't remember any other games that we played or dominated or played that kind of football for half an hour in each half at least. So
I think that to a point, and you still got the comment up by Judge Fusion, I think that possibly, and I'm gonna tie that up with a comment by it's gone now. In the comment, I think it was at 9:32.
9:32.
I think it was by. Let me just scroll up by Spurs GCTV.
That one.
Spurs GCTV. What up, homie? The big homie.
Right now, tying that on with we've been found out, right, and that Wolves were defensively spot on today, right? Wolves, all they had to do was contain to hit us on the counter attack, right? Because their defensive transitions were brilliant. Meaning that they got back to where they had to be to defend perfectly. Whenever they didn't have to get back and they were just stuck defending, they defended the ball really, really well, which means that our build-up play was very, very slow, right? Which probably meant that we were just saying, pass the blooming ball, do this with it, and move. And right, we're probably shouting at our TV screens or wherever we were watching it from, because I know I was like, but we have to understand that Wolves are playing as well. And Wolves, on paper, were playing a 3-4-2-1, right? Which translated into a back five with very little space in between their back line and their midfield, playing Neto as a sole striker up front. So you've got 9 players behind that ball, right? Which is extremely difficult to play against. Because one thing is looking at it on the TV, another thing is having that wall of 9 players in front of you. Where are you going to get that ball into? Where? It's impossible. Plus, if you've got slow build-up play, which is exactly what we had today, you're not going to do anything with it. You're not going to do anything with that ball because it's impossible to get in there. So Wolves, of course, as Spurs GCTV rightly says, you have to give them credit for that because they played defensively exceptionally well. Okay, and they were probably off guard on those 30 seconds, 15 seconds that Kulu got in behind and put it through the keeper's legs. Because after that, we didn't do a bloody thing. So,
Okay, so what's our excuse? Because Brighton played us off. I thought Brighton played us off the park last weekend. What was our excuse at Everton? I thought Everton had our number. We got a 2-2 draw there. What was our excuse? What was our excuse against Brentford the week before that? Man City the week before that. Man United. We're just regurgitating what we're saying today. We're regurgitating for nearly every match we've played this season. It's other people have played spot on against us, or is it that we just haven't turned up to play against any of them?
Can it be both?
It could be a mixture. It could be a mixture that you haven't got the right players. Plus, you found out the number that if you want to play link up football, all you have to do is basically set up a good defensive line and stop the channel, the passing channels in between that. That is all you have to do. Then if you can't move the ball, if you do that, do those 2 things. Move the ball. You won't be able to do it.
And then people say that Ange needs to change his tactics, and they're 100% right. I mean, honestly, he should. I'm of the belief that Ange should somewhat be able to change his tactics. He should be able to sort of Pochettino, like he should be able to play a creative player over in one of the wide spots to kind of create from there, to create from the channels. I mean, there should be little tweaks that should be able to be made, I think, to kind of help to keep us from having our head totally chopped off when the midfield is squeezed out a little bit by their midfield, which I feel like, kind of like what you're alluding to, is all that really needs to happen until we're forced, to try to play the balls down the channels or to switch the ball from side to side and then kind of restart the entire thing and just there probably should be some kind of a plan B, and it could be as simple as having a big lump of a striker to hit the ball to, Fellaini style, from Fellaini from Everton, or something like that could work. But there does need to be. I don't think Ange is fallible or infallible. I think he's like anybody else, he can make mistakes. He can be too married to his idea. He might see that he does have to change things a bit in the Premier League. But I do think before we say that he needs to change anything, we need to give him the tools. I don't know, Chris. I don't know. I'll ask you this question. I'll ask Jose too. Is it a matter of he needs the right tools to show that his way of doing things can work, or is it a way of saying that he needs to change what he's doing to work? You know what I mean? Is a true artist doesn't blame their tools, or however the saying goes, something to that effect. So is it something where Postecoglou needs to change the way up that he does things to fit the Premier League, or does he need the correct tools to do his thing that will work in the Premier League?
Okay, of that, you've asked the question, so part of that, let's just catch up with the chat again. So you've got Sanchez saying, I call it flange ball. David Clark says, Wolves won today because Spurs didn't do the basics. Son ducked under the cross and wasn't strong enough, and knowing that they were good on the counter-attack, you must leave enough players to stop the counter. Adrian has said, lack of quality squad depth in certain positions. For example, Radu was the only defender on the bench. And he also says that our midfield has lost its mojo. David Clark's come back in again. They scored from a corner. That is a schoolboy error. It should never happen. We had enough warnings before it happened. We need a real leader out there to get the players to do the basics. Spurs GCTV. Can't put my finger on the problem. We just seem to have lost our mojo. Need to find it before Palace. Tot Spurs. Good evening, Tot Spurs. Says we still have a long way to go. These players have just not got to grips fully with Ange's style. It will click one day soon, hopefully, and from there we can really start to make progress, and the summer is vital. GCTV, you read already. And then we have Leo Hermano in the house. Says big up homies, huge hug to everyone. The game didn't go away, but we love on, come on you Spurs. David Clark, we have a front three who didn't do their job in possession, and even worse, out of possession. How the hell was Wolves' old man centre-back have time to play 60-yard passes down the field? Judge Fusion saying, how many problems did he sign? Miss me with that tripe. Okay. And then you have Vlahovic would suit Angeball, and Rafinha is a much better player than Neto, who we are rumoured to have shown interest in. I would also like Morata from Benfica, a 20-year-old left-footed centre-back. Come back to that one in a minute, Chris, because there's another comment here further down. Okay. I'm gonna park the question that Swim Masters asked, and David Clark says inverted wingers do not work in this system. Kulu isn't good enough to play the 8 or 10 role, and being an inverted winger just isn't working.
He is the only player that had a sniff on goal today. But
Mark Cousins says Levy ain't spending the money to replace half the team. He will be satisfied with fourth as usual. Tot Spurs is saying, we've got to take the rough with the smooth at the moment until we get more depth and better players in the squad. David again, and when making subs, when losing, takes off the physical centre forward and then puts Son in the number 9 role when Wolves played deep, meaning there was no room for Son to run into, so it was a bad change. Just Fusion, right now, what stops any club from doing the same thing? Adrian is saying, the way you beat a low block is with the shots from outside the box, late runs into the box, and with wingers who take on their man. This is the comment I was coming to. Sanchez, we just need good Spanish players. Wayne Bonner says, our style of play is too predictable as it simply doesn't change, and all teams have to do is sit back deep and hit us with a quick counter.
That's what it is, yeah.
Yeah, David Clark says, I just think our two inverted fullbacks are not as good as what Spurs fans are saying. I don't think they have the vision in the attacking sense, the odd good pass or cross, but not consistent enough.
It's weird
Jazz
that
Fusion.
didn't play today, so I don't really know how that we can talk about
I
him.
don't agree with that.
We also didn't see him today.
Jazz Fusion saying, are they now going to look for a target striker? If they are, his system is permanently defunct. Daniel Lee, the longer he shows he's not willing to adjust sometimes to in-game situations because he don't want to drop this philosophy for 45 minutes. Just save us a match. It's proving to people he ain't got a plan B. Rich is saying, good evening, Rich. Most concerningly, Ange's tools he chose, Werner, BJ, Dragusin, all started on the bench.
I thought they would come on a lot earlier. Not that for sure, Rich. So.
Sanchez is saying our passing and clinical play is proper bad sometimes. I agree. We do need much better squad and be reliable. Swap. Good evening, Swap. Both Ange and players were terrible today. Only Mickey and Vic were the positives. We then have Swim Master saying, I thought Sonny had a very poor game. The amount of times he passed and the opposition got it. He looked simply knackered. That must tell us something regarding Son. Pramvit.
That's why he started on the bench. No one understood.
Hi, Pramvat says, hello, guys. It's 2 a.m. in India. And
Man,
then he says,
dedication to the cause right there. Pramvat.
And then he says, guys, as a United fan, I am absolutely delighted that Spurs dropped points, but it's concerning that you guys lost to Wolves while playing some good football. We've got a big up from Kate. Hello, Kate.
Hey, Kate, big up.
David Clark, Rafinha for Leeds was in spells brilliant. Then he would disappear up his own backside. Neto is far superior to him. And someone that I haven't seen in a while.
I saw you in Jacob's chat earlier. I thought about you.
Hi, Scott. How are you, mate? Big up, guys. Unfortunately, we cannot be surprised with the result. We've seen it for 24 years under Levy and will continue to see it as long as he stays. Right. That is the chat caught up with. So
that's the chat
Colin,
caught up with.
That's for now, that is, because there's a lot of people that are pumping into the chat. So
big up to everybody that's in
so going back to what Colin said, and for the chat, Colin said that Chris, he's asked you, does Ange need his tools in order to play the style of football that he wants, or is it a bit of that Ange has to change the way he plays with the players that he currently has?
Is that for me?
That's what Colin asked before I said I need to catch up with
okay. I thought, because I'd spoken before, I was going to let you do it, but I can answer. Every manager needs their tools, and because of either restrictions or whatever, they can't get exactly what they want. There were rumours that certain players were going to leave. That would have freed up money to buy whatever. I don't know. I'm not into the transfer. I wasn't following it that closely. But I'm sure that Johan Langer is doing his homework and has probably said something along the lines of, let's do all the good stuff in the summer, where things are more available than just buying here and there, and, do some not buy the quality stuff now. Let's wait for the summer. So basically, I think that we've got a squad that doesn't suit what Ange needs, which is perfectly fine, because as a manager, you need to adapt primarily with what you've got. With the cards are what he has been dealt, right? But also he needs to ship what he doesn't see as viable for his way of playing. He needs to ship that out. It's not always that easy, right? Because he might say, right, Richarlison, get him out, but then Daniel might say, yeah, but I want at least 60 million for him as what you pay. So then it's not always that easy. I mean, as fans, we all see things in two dimensions. It's either yes or no, or black and white. It's not always that. Okay, and honestly, with our hands on our hearts, it's not always that easy.
I appreciate you admitting that and being of course, very true. And a lot of people don't want to see it that way, or maybe they just can't. But it's refreshing to, yes, I 100% agree with you
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I don't.
Nice.
I don't get paid to talk. So do you know what I mean? I just keep
Is
it real.
Daniel
And I try
Levy,
to
is Daniel Levy paying you right now?
Not at all. He never has, and I don't think he ever will. But
I'll
I just
put a
got. I
lawyer
just.
on it.
Yep, no problem. Send him my number again. But I just think that being honest about things and not being a fanatic about things just gets you a little bit further than just hiding behind the truth. Just be honest about it. I mean, you know, now does Ange have to change to adapt to the Premier League? Possibly. Does he change? I think he does. Right, I think he does. He just doesn't say, right, I want all the balls pinged out to the wing and that's it. And no, he does have, you know, play through the middle. He does play through the middle. When that doesn't work, he pings it out to the wings. And then there's a hybrid of that. So it's not all Ange ball. It isn't, but he can't do what we've seen that works so well at Celtic because he doesn't have the tools, right? Because he doesn't have Kyogo, because he doesn't have Jota, because he doesn't have these players that are small, dynamic, that run for 90 minutes, because he doesn't have that. And he doesn't have the quality, and he doesn't have the players with the stamina, regardless of whether people want to accept that or not. He just doesn't have it.
And the players that he has gone for are slightly different players, size-wise, play style-wise. They're not quite the exact, you know what I mean? So it does seem like maybe he is changing that style a bit for the Premier League. Maybe he is making some changes because he's had the opportunity to go for Jota. The same exact player in Jota, and you know, didn't do so.
As far as I saw, whenever Jota was mentioned as a possible loan from Saudi Arabia, I saw in an article that he was deemed not good enough for the Premier League. Of course, you have to look elsewhere. Werner was brilliant at RB Leipzig before he came to Chelsea. Didn't work out at Chelsea. At Stuttgart. He was great at Stuttgart. He was not bad at Leipzig. Didn't really work out at Chelsea, but he's got Premier League experience, right? So what do you look at whenever you sign a player? Jota, who is possibly not cut out for Premier League, or Werner, who already has experience? So
right, I get you. I'm with you. I also think Werner's a shrewd pickup. I think that he plays well. I think that he looks better than Brennan Johnson does, and I think it's due to the experience he's got playing with top teams, and he understands patterns of play and much better than Brennan Johnson, who I still think could be a great player for us. Real quick, wanted to address this comment. Got to get through a lot of comments in a second, but real quick, I wanted to address this one. This one was just, I think we got to be careful on getting to be like body language analysts, because I'm sure as heck not one. And I can't say that him having his hands in his pockets, I don't know. A lot of coaching. I know that some motivating of the team happens during the match and on the sidelines, but a lot of, you know, a big percent of coaching happens during the week and the day of. I mean, it's just the team going out there and doing what you've taught them to do. They should be able to motivate themselves. I don't know. I think I don't know. I just personally, I don't know. Do you think does it matter? Do you think, as a guy that's taken his coaching badges, you're the perfect person to ask? Which type of coach are you? Do you think you get much out of, you think yelling and being vocal is the way?
I think you have to. There's three types of coaches. You can be like a dictator where you dictate everything and you don't accept that your players can talk to you in a free way. Yeah, there's like a democratic way of doing things where you are the one that decides, but you're also open to your players talking to you and expressing themselves freely. But you are obviously the person that ultimately decides on what action to take. And then there's like a laissez-faire kind of free for all, you know. And I am, because I was brought up in England. I had Australian, I had New Zealand, like teachers from New Zealand regarding sports. So I was drilled into, you can always do a little bit better, and you can always do a little bit better. That was for me, and that was for everybody, you know. So it's like, if the ball hasn't gone out 100%, you know, over the line, you can still fight for that ball. So I am very I'm very visceral, I'm very passionate, but I'm also I like to communicate with they're not mine yet, but with the team that I'm with my son and his friends and his buddies. And there's a first team coach there. I'm with them learning, and I've already got everything passed. I'm just waiting for my final badge to be sent to me. But yeah, I like to be democratic, but when I have to shout, I shout. And I've got the I've got the authority to do that.
Was
So-
Ange not shouting enough today?
I saw him looking kind of like somewhere, like he was lost and like what the hell's going on.
He did. He did. He looked like he was over
Yeah.
it. Like he
Hold
was
on. Let's get this real, right? Ange has never been a screamer. So
No.
what you saw today is what you've seen for the past 25, 27 games. Ange is not Arteta. Ange is not Ten Hag. Ange is not your Klopp. Ange is not Guardiola. I mean, some of the ones that I've mentioned already, they're incessant on the touchline, always. Rah, rah, rah. Guardiola tends to sit down and then will come to the touchline. Ange just stands on the touchline. So the way he looked like today,
It's the way he's
even in games that we've won,
Yeah.
he's been exactly the same. And he doesn't show him
that's
when
true.
we score goals. He doesn't show emotion and start running down the line, doing the old knee slides and all that. He doesn't do all that stuff. So the way you saw him today is the way that he's been. Right, we've got a question to answer that Swim Master put in a lot earlier. But before we do that, I just want to make sure we quite with the chat again. So Kate says, I don't think Spurs have played particularly well for most of the season. In spells we have, but during full games, not much, which is something we've already alluded to and said. Philly in New York City. Good evening, Philly. Says Werner went down the middle when he came on today, not Son.
No, he was down the left wing as well.
You got David Clark saying Spurs players lose too many second balls. You can't be consistent if players don't win their individual battles, which gives the team a platform to control the game. This never happened today. Leo is laughing his head off, saying incorrect tools, in my opinion, is what he's saying. He's not laughing. He's saying he believes it's incorrect tools that we're playing with at the moment. You've got Adrian saying we need a left back, a right back, a left-footed centre back, dynamic quality midfielder, left winger striker. Quite a few people we need then, or a few players. Kate is saying, to be fair, the Scottish League is much slower than the Premier League. Right, what else we got here? Who else we got?
The games take 90 minutes in both leagues.
Yeah, so you got Sanchez saying, I think Ellie is right. I said exactly the same to the missus. He looked like the Titanic captain at one stage. You also got Totspur saying, yeah, but the hands in the pockets might be like a signal for a set piece. In other words, wait till your baskets get in the changing. Wait till your baskets get into the changing rooms. Daniel says, I know one thing. He's not paid millions to stand there and look like he was today.
No, he's paid millions to do shit throughout the week and at training sessions, and there's a lot more to it than the match day. But
Swim Master, I'm going to come to your question, but for the time being, he says Ange knew the squad before he signed and took on the job. If the vast majority of the squad is not suited to style, then he should have taken the job. Where the number of windows simply too many to change it. Swim Master, what I will say, when Klopp took over the job, and he took it, I remember Klopp took over. And I don't know whether he took over just before or just after we had played and beat him at Wembley 4-1 when Kane handed Lovren his backside. And then after that, I think it was the season after that, he went and sold the Brazilian chap to Barcelona for three-figure millions. Yeah, for three-figure millions. Yeah, for three-figure millions. And then he started his rebuild by bringing in Van Dijk and Alisson. So, you know, at the end of the day, you take over clubs. But once you take over the clubs, if you're going to play in a certain way, if you've got a certain philosophy how to do it, then you either mould the players to do that or you get rid of the players that ain't going to fit that and bring players in. And I think that's exactly what Ange is doing. We've only had 2 windows with him. So Chris Agenbar says perhaps Ange was playing pocket billiards.
You never know. You never know. It was a boring match. So
Spurs 1961. Good evening. He makes his fullbacks go forward. That's why we keep getting caught on the counter attack. Ellie is saying Ange is not throw your hands around, man. He's calm but shouts when he needs to. And like he said, you can't let me down. You can't let the fans down, but don't let yourselves down. And I know, and he knows who they are. Basically, he has their number, and their days are numbered.
Yeah,
Big up, Ellie.
very well said.
Yep. Ellie's a smart lady. That's one thing I've noticed about her. She's very intelligent.
He said Klopp got rid of Moreno, Lovren, and Karius. And then Ellie has said, there's a whole load of people talking to each other. So Ellie said, Colin, I love your loyalty too, as he and I too think he will get this fine tuning with some more of his style of player. And I feel nearly half of the squad won't be included in his plans. Right. So we've caught up with the chat. Now I've started two questions here. The first one came in from Swim Master a while ago. So
no, we don't answer any questions.
It came in 20 just over 20 minutes ago. And his question is, how many of the current squad suit Angie's system? And another question is, how many suit the system but simply are not top Premiership standard?
You know so what,
it's a double loaded question.
I take back what I said. That's a good question. That's a pretty good question, especially from you, Swim Master. And I'm completely joking, by the way. You know I love you. How many of the current squad fit Angie's system? So let's just go down. Let's just go through the squad.
60%.
I'd say that's fair. That's a nice. I like that. I like the quickness of that.
Chris, does your 60% right? Does that include the starting 11? Take away the two fullbacks today, and stick the two fullbacks that would normally play, and keep the rest of that side. So it's the same side that went through them first 10 games. How many of them 11 are in that 60%? Because if you're saying from the starting 11 they're not there either, then we've got even bigger issues.
No, from the starting 11, you've got to take Son out of it, because as much as we like Son and I love Son and the whole lot, he is 30 something, right?
Keep going, yeah.
And right, he's 30 something, and he's not going to last that much longer under that hammering, right? And Angie's Ange Ball, if that is what he wants to play and can play, Sonny's not going to last it. Richarlison, you've got to take him out, and Kulusevski could, but I'd say from the starting 11 you've got to take at least 3 or 4 players out of that, because Madders is he a number 10? Is he a Kyogo? I mean, yeah, he's a number 10 on paper, but is he the one getting in behind? Is he the one breaking defensive lines with runs like Kyogo used to do at Celtic? No, he's the one that's filtering passes. He's the one that's distributing. So you got to have someone up there, right? So and the other two are Bissouma and Sarr. Say they're the starting 11. Would that be correct? You've got Bentancur. How can you leave Bentancur out of that? I mean, I don't know how you can, right? So, but anyway, the starting 11, Richarlison's out, Son's out. I don't know about Kulusevski. So there's 3, and one of the midfield, there's 4. So there's your 60% more or less.
From the starting lineup, yeah?
That's from the starting lineup. And then you've got players like Emerson, I can't remember.
Right, but okay, but that's why I asked you the question, Chris, because if you've got 25 in the squad and 11 are playing, right?
Yeah. Then
a lot of the people, if you're going to look at 60% of players that got to go, that's from a 25-man squad. Now, 60%, keeping 60% would be 6 twos. 6 twos is 12, 6 5. So you're keeping 15 players, and 10 would have to go. So if you're not keeping them 11 players that have started, or that are your first 11, then we must have bigger problems than 60%.
Well, you don't have to keep the starting 11. You can ship them out and get new in to replace them, or not, or have I misunderstood?
What's that? Say it again, Chris.
I'm not understanding. Is that of like? So it's 60% of the current players.
You said 60%. Right. So the squad's 25. So if our starting 11 are good enough, right? 60% means you're keeping 15 out of 25 players, right? So if you're not keeping all your starting 11, and we're saying that the subs are not good enough to get into that 11, then we've got bigger problems. Because what I tend to think myself is that you want to keep your normal starting 11. Probably you want to keep Bentancur as well, your 12th player.
Yeah.
Because I think he's worthy and a good enough player. But then how many you still got to find to get to 60%? You still would have to find another 3 players, and then you're saying I'll get rid of the other 40%, which is 10 players. Do you see what I mean?
But then Adrian gave us a list before, which suits me fine. Which I don't know how many account for, but you've got academy players that you can use or under 20, whatever you want to use, and then you've got the players that Adrian said that we definitely need backup for them. You need at least another left centre back. You need 2 left right wing backs. You need central midfielders. You need more attackers. So you're shipping the deadwood out. You're getting new stuff in. I'm comfortable with 60% because you need an overhaul anyway. And Ange isn't happy with, and as Ellie said, he's got their numbers possibly. So if they're not, hauling their weight around the pitch, they're dead anyway. So,
Kate's coming with Kulu, Johnson, Richarlison, Werner, Skip, Davis, Emerson. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 7.
No, I'd say 5 of those. 5 of those are not good enough. Johnson,
I can't co-sign all of this either.
No,
but then
Johnson and Werner are good enough, but Johnson needs more time, and Werner is a proven international player, and he's versatile. He's probably the most versatile out of all those players.
Right, because Ellie's come in with hers is you got Skip, Højbjerg, Ritchie, Kulu, Emerson, Davis, Bissouma, Johnson, Werner, Austin, Forster, Lo Celso, and Dembele. That's 13 players. Although Endon Bailey is not with us at the moment, so it's 12 players that are currently with us.
Bissouma out, Ellie. Bissouma out.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big call, Ellie. I mean, Bissouma's a workhorse in the middle. I don't know. I mean, I haven't been watching all the games. I'm not sure if he's dipped in form But I'd keep Bissouma.
Okay, so if you've missed the games, Chris, I don't know whether you have or not. Bissouma was absolutely dire up until he got suspended back in December, and then he had to miss the games because he was going to AFCON. So Bissouma hasn't actually played for like 2.5 months. But Bissouma since the Luton game? Since the Luton game, Bissouma's been missing for Tottenham and hasn't played to the standards that he was playing to before then.
But the fact that he has ever played to those standards, I think, puts him ahead of some people on the list and shows that he has it in him to maybe, at least get back to those standards, whereas some players that could go on this list have never been what I would consider Tottenham starting quality.
Yeah, Artisan is saying no one's even mentioned Sessegnon and Hill either.
Exactly.
At the moment,
I'll be right back.
In these conversations. See, the thing is, right, is today we had a loss today, and I think to myself that today probably a lot of the stuff's been going on has been masked by the results that we've been getting. I mean, for those that heard me last week, I said, look, we got the 3 points. We're very lucky. We've got the 3 points. Move on, get on the training pitch for a week, see if we can get some more coaching inside us, see if we can get some more understanding inside us, come out and put a performance the next game. But I've been saying that week in, week out for a long time now. And at the end of the day, today, the way that Wolves played against us, or the way that we played against Wolves, because it's a match of 2 teams, has got us to the state tonight that we're speaking and we're asking these questions, or here today on this channel, we're asking these questions now deeper. We're going deeper into it and saying, what is it that's wrong? Because I believe that the sample size of 25 games tells me we've only played twice in 25 games, then something's not right. It's either the coaching setup and the methods that we coach with and that are not right, or we haven't got. Sorry, my dogs are barking. Or we haven't got the players, and the players ain't taken on board everything that's being coached to them. And sorry, there's a disconnect somewhere, and that's what I'm trying to understand. What do people think? Where do they think the disconnect's actually at? And that's why we're saying, is it the players are not good enough to play the system within that team.
Yeah, that's what I think. It's just the players, but that's just the players that have been dealt, and it's not a 1 season or a 6-month process. It's to get back up to where Spurs and Spurs fans like ourselves want us to be. If we want quick fixes, we may as well stay with Conte. We may as well stay with Nuno. We may as well stay with Jose. And just quick fix, 1 year, 2 years. That's it, and not progress. If you want to progress, you have to lay the slab, right? You have to lay the slabs and build off that, right? And that's what we're doing. If the cards that have been dealt by Ange, right, before, right, as someone was saying, yeah, but surely when he signed, he knew the players. It doesn't always work like that, because he signs before or during the summer, and then he's got players that they either can shift or not, or get new ones in. It's not always 2D, as I said before, right? You're left with the players you've got. Harry Kane situation, right? Was he going to stay? Was he going to go? Etc. I'm not going to go into that again, right? But you don't actually know what's going to happen until everything is start of the season. Everybody's where they have to be, right? And then you're left with Richarlison, right? Which might not be, my favorite player, but even if he was, you still have to admit he's not Harry Kane, right? And he never will be. So you're looking at a top 4 spot. You want to be a big 6 club with Richarlison as your number 9 when Harry Kane has just left the club. I mean, we have to be realistic, and that's never going to happen. Even if he was my favorite Brazilian number 9 of all time, which he definitely isn't. But we just have to be realistic that the cards were dealt when Ange signed, and it's going to be a process of maybe 1 or 2 years or 1.5 years. I think, Jose, we were talking before I left the whole internet thing. It's going to be at least 3 or 4 windows. I think that was your estimation. Your quote was 3 or 4 windows at least to get things sorted out. So obviously back then, months ago, we were already saying that it's the players that are going to have to be moved on, the deadwood, that was already not good enough even back then. And we're talking 6, 7, 8 months ago. So, I mean, that's clear to me. Now, whether the manager, I don't know why he's been brought into question now, but if the manager is good enough or not, we'll see whenever his tenure comes to an end. So,
am I speaking? Yeah, I think the manager is good enough. I just think that he's going to need the more windows, like I said in the past, before the season started. I said it ain't going to be fixed overnight. He'll do well. You're going to have to coach what we've got. He's made this is before even bloody the transfer window shut. We were talking about it before the transfer window actually opened, even before he signed on the 1st of July. We were talking about this. It's going to take 3 or 4 transfer windows at least for him to bed a squad that he needs. But in saying that, there's a comment here that Kate's put in this. He said, but Postecoglou is trying to implement a philosophy. If it's the players that aren't good enough, so as a coach, he needs to adapt until we get the necessary personnel. And
that's
there
what
is
he's done.
Has he?
Is that not what he's done?
Has he fully?
Well, I mean, he can't do much more with what he's got. If you've got a nylon hammer, right, one of those plastic-headed hammers, which is a nylon hammer, but you need a metal-headed hammer, you can only do what you can with a nylon-headed hammer until you get a metal-headed hammer. And I know it's a bit of a, it's just an example, but do you know what I mean? You've got a hammer, it's just not the right one. So you just have to use what you've got. Has he? Well, your hammer can only hammer certain things.
Jazz, I never worry about ins or outs. Levy takes care of that anyway.
Well,
Adrian, statistician, incomings, Dragozin, Werner Bergvall, got Dyer Perisic Lloris off the wage bill, loaned out Ndombele, Rodon, Spence, Tanganga, Reguilon, Divine Phillips, Parrott, Craig Willis, and sold Kane. 17 deals. We need a lot more than 17 deals. Yeah. From the way it's going today, we need a lot more yeah, we do need a lot more to change, so to speak. But yeah, going back to the question, it was a double loaded question where he said, what did he say? A question: how many suit the system, but simply not Premiership standard? Right. So we said 60% of the squad need to change. Out of our squad, I'll go to Colin. Colin, out of our squad, for the double loaded question here, how many of our squad are not Premiership standard?
Back in a minute.
I mean, that's tough. Most of our players are Premier League standard. You know, I would say like the vast majority of our players are Premier League standard. Fraser Forster, maybe he belongs in the Championship.
To me, I think only 2 players aren't Premiership standard that are in our squad, and they are the 2 goalkeepers that never ever play, Alfie Whiteman and Brandon Austin, because they never ever play, and because they never ever play, you can't class them as Premiership standard. And the proof is in the pudding. These players have been with us from their infancy at the club, and not broken into the first team yet. There hasn't been any takers for them either. That kind of is a bit telling for me, and that tells me that they're not being given a chance at Spurs to play in the first team, and other players are not other teams are not coming in for them. So for me, that tells me, you know, what I need to know. Kate, yeah, I've just seen your comment. We're only answering the question that Swim Master's put in there. I agree with a lot of the stuff, but yeah, I'm asking I'm only answering what he's put in here. Another question, and the second question is coming from Michael Zachariah, the Man United fan, and he's saying, who's the main reason for the result today?
No, it's not just one. I don't think there's just one reason. But I think we touched that on before.
Yeah.
I touched on that before, sorry, is that defensively, Wolves played very well, which totally short-circuit any plan that you have, because they played very well. That their defensive game was very good, was very solid, and they hit you on the counter-attack. And they scored 2 goals, well, 1 goal, and your defense was awful on the first goal. Leaving in like a 5'7" guy or however small he is, totally free to, so defensively awful, plus the defensive attributes of your rival. So, but you can go into it technically, you can go into it tactically. It's not just one main reason. It's pretty difficult to just decipher out one main reason. You don't lose a game for one reason. So,
agreed, 100%.
I'm just looking back for Swim Master because I've just seen some comments down in the bottom of the chat. So I just want to read his question again just to make sure that we did read it right. Otherwise, I'm going to give it an answer. Let me see where I can find it. I'm trying to see where I can find his question because I did how it started, but I've unstarred it now.
Was it top Premiership level? Was that it?
That's what I want to see. I want to see whether that was okay.
Yeah, you can find it at 22:17, Jose.
22:17. Okay, so
that's correct.
Right. That's 22:19.
Kate's got a few. Just to help you out. Kate's got a few.
No. I'm talking. I'm talking about his original question. Original question. I'm looking back to his original question because when I can see it says top, I'm thinking, so is that what it said in the question? If it was, yeah, we didn't answer it like that. So that's why I'm trying to see what his question actually was. It was.
I was just trying to help you.
Yeah. It was a question. So where is it? Let me have a look for it. It doesn't delete. It just goes back into the normal path. Let me see. I'm sure Swim Master asked it as well.
Can you remind me who it was by, and I'll have a look as well.
Okay, right. So yeah, I've got it. Right. So, right. How many of the current squad suit Angie's system? Another question is how many suit the system but simply not top Premiership standard. Right, I'm going to answer this for you, Swim Master. Right, tell me what you determine is top. Is top the top 4 teams? Is top the top 10 teams? Because I can see comments saying that Sheffield United not Premiership standard. So in order for me to answer this question, clarify the question that you want answered, and I will answer it. Is it what is top standard for you? Is top the top 10 teams? Is it the top 12 teams? Top 15? Top 4? So tell me, Swim Master, what is for me? No, Swim Master's asked the question. I want Swim Master to clarify it. Top Premiership level, top the key word. How many teams are we looking at for top, Swim Master? And then I'll answer it.
Interesting. I like this.
Or possibly means just good enough to play for Spurs.
But
let him clarify it, yeah.
Yeah, because Swim Master's asked the question. If he can clarify it for me, then I will answer it.
Yeah, they are 2 good questions, by the way.
Yeah.
So
I'm happy to answer them, but I need to know exactly what they mean.
He just has.
Has he come back to me?
Yeah, at the bottom. Yeah, at the bottom.
Okay, let me go back to the bottom now because I was right at the top again. Top. Good enough to be capable of winning on all fronts. So the only team in the Premiership that can win on all fronts is Manchester City because they've won on all fronts. They're the treble champions. So the only team in the Premiership that can win on all fronts is Manchester City. That knocks out everybody else in the Premiership. So if that's the question you're asking me, who do I believe from Tottenham Hotspur it can get into Manchester City's team or squad, then for me, I believe Bentancur can get into the Manchester City squad, and I believe Romero can get into the Manchester City squad. Other than that, I don't think there's any other players that can get into the Manchester City squad. So you've narrowed it down. Now that I've asked you the question, you've narrowed it down to one team in the Premiership because they're the only one that are capable of winning on all fronts. So therefore, the answer for me is just them 2 players.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think
So
Doggy could do a job in for Man City under Pep. Don't you think?
You think a Doggy could go there?
Yeah, I think Doggy could give it a go under Pep. I think Pep could do wonders with him.
So clarifying on that, Kate says that she thinks Van der Ven could get into that squad, but not Romero.
Wow.
Ellie's saying Benny when he's fully fit too.
Look who's in the back, guys.
Yes, I sent him the link because I'd asked him only, but he's been on another show. Hey, Leo, hermano.
My homie.
What's up, Leo?
Hey, Leo.
What up?
How's
brother?
everybody doing?
Shitty.
All the better that you've now come on, mate.
Thank you, my homie. Nice to see you, Jose.
Yeah, igualmente, hostia.
Buenos días, mi hermano.
¿Qué rollo? ¿Qué rollo con el hoyo, Colin? How you doing, bro?
I'm throwing out. I'm like Spanish 3 in high school, trying to remember everything I learned, which wasn't much. I cheated in that class.
Leo, Chris también habla español.
Ah, ¿a poco sí?
Sí, no, yo soy español por parte de madre.
Bro, look, I'm not trying to take any hype away from talking ball or nothing like that, but eventually soon I'm going to do a Spanish-speaking show, and I need as many people to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no problem, man.
You have Coach Chris. Chris has just taken his football coaching badges.
Nice. Chris, Meta Football?
Yeah.
Well, big up, my homie. I'm Leo.
Hey, nice to meet you, Chris.
From the Mile High Hot Spot.
Come on to my show, take all my people away.
Nah, that's no. That's not what it is.
Borrowing, just a borrowing timeshare.
So now that Leo, you just come off another show, haven't you?
Yeah.
So we're gonna probably ask you the same questions you may have been asked there already, because I've not seen the show that you were on. So what's your take on it today, Leo? What's your
Well, let me just
how you feeling and what do you reckon?
let me just I started drinking tequilas and at like 8 in the morning with my homies, and it's like 2:25 today at PM. So
Salud.
I want to forget we even had a game, my homies. We played absolutely atrocious. The first thing I do want to start by saying my hats off to Wolves. Wolves played an excellent game. They took 6 points from us this year, and they deserve my hat off to them. That goes without saying. Now, I'm going to open up a can of worms maybe, but it just is what it is.
We
are not the team that we want to be right now, and it's okay. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. All I'm saying is this was a perfect game to kind of bring me back down to ground and say, you know what? There is still some work to do. We still need different type of players. We still need to get rid of some of our players, but I'm not losing faith, my homies, whatsoever. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is today was a wake-up call. Right, we've had games like this before. We got beat by Wolves in the last minute. The last time we played them, except for this time, they beat us fair and square like they did the last time, and it's worrying. I'm worried that we're not being able to score more goals than these teams. I mean, Wolves they have been our bogey team, but it's a team you see on paper and you think with the players that we have and the bench that we had, our bench was phenomenal today, my homies. You're looking at it on paper and you're thinking, wow, if we're not cutting it come halftime, we could bring on some of this pace, but that just bit us in the butt today. Like, we just could not do anything today. We just couldn't. Kulusevski showed sheer determination to get his goal, right? Fair play to Kulusevski for bagging the goal. But other than that, can you guys name me anything that really happened? Vicario made a few good saves. We could have easily went down by more goals had it not been for him. And now, again, we're talking about Vicario saving our butts. There's work to do all up and down that team. I don't even think that Ange knows his best 11. He hasn't had his full 11 for a long time. He's having to do with substitutions, players being at different competitions, injuries, and it's going to take its toll eventually. He's doing the best that he can with what he has, and I appreciate him for that. I'm not knocking him whatsoever. I just feel that me as a fan, I think I need to lower my expectations. We started off really well, 10 games unbeaten. And now at this point in the season, I'm glad that happened, because had that not happened, we might be down where Chelsea's at. We might be down, where other teams are at. And that's no knock to the other teams. That's not a knock to the other teams. It's just I need to lower my expectations, because I thought we were swinging above teams like Wolverhampton, and it just goes to show that some of these players that we have, even though last year they played good, even though at the beginning of the season they played good, throughout a whole 38 week season, some of these guys just ain't cutting it, and that's okay, because Ange inherited a ton of players. She inherited a ton of players, and he's only brought in a couple that we can say may or may not be his type of players. Like, we can comfortably say these players may be Ange's players, right? Brendan Johnson, Werner, players that we just have seen coming in. These are players that he may have wanted, he may be okay with, but these aren't players that he inherited. These are players that he has something to do with them coming in. And I think maybe we just maybe need to get rid of players. My homies, when you're taking off Madison, you're the guy that's going to pick the lock, and you're bringing on Højbjerg. That's atrocious, my homies. That's insane. When you're trying to win the game, and this is not a knock to Højbjerg, it's just Højbjerg is not cutting it. All of us.
No, you're talking. Hey, we're not gonna have you. No, I'm not gonna have you talking about Højbjerg like that. Okay. Okay. All right.
No, but and I'm not having to go at none of our players. I'm just being real. And
you can never go with this guy since he's not our player anymore.
We got rid of players like him. there's still some players we need to get rid of, and we need to bring in players that we don't even know we're linked to. That's the type of shit we need to be that needs to be going on. We need to be bringing in players that are going to surprise us and hit the ground running, not players that need time, not players that are going to come in slow, not these players that are going to have to come and be second fiddle. But for the time being, my homies, and just doing the best that he can with what he has. And as a guy that prides himself on doing just that, I can't knock the hustle. I can't knock the hustle. I can't knock the hustle.
Real quick. You said my homies. We're frenemies. I just want everyone to know me and you are frenemies. So, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Cheers, bro.
But you know how it is, man. Like, I just feel like I'm bummed out, my homies. I'm bummed out. I expect more.
You know who's not bummed out? This guy.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
He's doing good.
Right, so let's just say hello to a few people. So Paddy Hartnett's here. Good evening, Paddy. Says, evening, folks. Yeah. We can't beat a team with that low block. My only criticism of Ange is that he does not have a plan B or refuses to change his ways. In saying that, I think he will win us something. You also have Andres here. Good evening, Andres. He says, fully agree, Paddy. We also have Spurs Squad who's joined us. Welcome to Spurs, homies.
Welcome.
And Andres has gone on to say, Højbjerg offers us nothing. As with Skip, we need.
Hey, I have to keep West Ham, and we're talking midfielders. It's almost like the perfect time. So we'll get to these guys, and then we'll keep West Ham if you guys don't mind.
And then we've got Kate saying Højbjerg is another one nowhere near good enough. Ellie's saying Højbjerg only got on from the 86th minute. It's not his fault we lost, but I agree, Leo. We need better substitutes off the bench and earlier too, so they have more time to affect the match. Kate says this is why Ange needs to adapt his systems. He needs to plan B. He has layers. He has to have, I think, layers. Players like Højbjerg coming off the bench. Sorry. And then you've got Leah saying, big up homies, huge hug to all in the chat. And then you've got big love coming back to you from Kate. So what did you say you've got, Colin? You've got a keep bench of West Ham?
I do. Go
on and fire it in then, mate.
I know if you guys were ready to do that, play that game, have a little fun.
Yes. Go on. And I haven't seen it, so that means I've got to partake because I haven't seen who you've done today.
And away we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome.
I love it, bro.
West Ham.
I love that.
Yeah, it's the internet's favorite Tottenham game show for a reason, and I think the intro plays a big part in that. So, yeah, everybody, welcome. Good to have you guys here. I hope you're ready to play. Oh, I didn't change the background. What an amateur. Got to put it on the game background. There we go. Now we look like we're about to play a game show. Are you guys ready? We've changed the rules slightly. It used to only be 2 players. It is now 3 players. You keep 1, you bench 1, and you sell 1 to West Ham. So it's like first favorite, second favorite, send 1 away to the shittiest team in the Prem. So here we go. The first what made me think of it was I had this banner, and I said, used to be Spurs, would you have Nabil Bentaleb over Oliver Skip? So then I just made it into a keep West Ham, and here is what I've got. Nabil Bentaleb, Ollie Skip, or Conor Gallagher. Because one player is one player that we've had on our team, one player we do have on our team, and one player we are heavily linked with or have been heavily linked with in the recent past. So, yeah.
Can I go first? Because it's easy for me.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going from right to left in that order. So I'll keep my dogs. Someone must be coming through the door.
So it's okay. The dogs are getting on this.
I'm keeping Gallagher. I think
Yep.
Gallagher offers more than the other two quite easily. I was bench Skip, and I found Bentaleb very, 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 very limited as a player.
Really?
Even more
Really?
limited than Skip.
Really?
I found Bentaleb an awful player.
I think
He
he
just-
might be alone in that.
He just happened to play at a time when we didn't have 5 or 6 electric midfielders.
Huh.
So if we had like a set of 5 or 6 electric midfielders,
Can we go back then to let's go back to my original question for you then. I'll make everyone else play, but my original question,
No,
Nabil
no,
Bentaleb
do-
or Oliver Skip?
Let's keep it to keep and West Ham because that's what we're playing. So I've given him my reasonings. That's what I would do.
Leo. Do you remember Bentaleb?
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
was-
for sure.
I think Bentaleb kind of is being pooped on by my man El Tel over here.
Colin, I'm gonna have to respectfully say Bentaleb was shite.
Come on, Bentaleb is dope, dude.
Leo Valiostia, yes, man.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Bentaleb-
let's
no,
just call a
Bentaleb-
spade a spade.
If he had a better attitude, he would be a wonderful player. He had the tools for sure.
Yeah. Exactly right.
You know.
If butts and monkey nuts.
Right. All right, so you're saying the same thing as El Tel then, I'm gonna guess. Conor Gallagher. Skip.
No. I agree with what he said about Nabil, but Conor Gallagher, I don't really see the hype in him. But then again, I don't watch Chelsea enough. I would never really, I mean, even if we sign him, I'll be okay with it then. But he's not our player yet. And until that happens, I will show no respect for that man. He's going to West Ham, and he's going to drag Nabil Bentaleb with him. And I'll tell you what, Skippy's going to stay on the bench.
Dang. Okay, so they're both going
Oh,
to West Ham.
You can't send them both to West Ham. You know the rules, right? One, you got to keep one, you got to bench one, and you got to send one to West Ham. They're the rules. Colin's trying to let you get away with this. It's not. You've got to keep. You've got to keep one.
Just came in. I was
You've
gonna
got to keep one.
say,
I'll keep Skippy on the bench. Damn it, El Tel, and then I'm starting Gallagher, and I'm getting rid of Nabil Bentaleb to West Ham. You got me.
Nabil Bentaleb's better than Skippy. You guys, you're on crack cocaine.
But based on what, man? Based on what? On what?
A season at least in the Premier League, where he was one of the best midfielders in the league.
He wasn't. He played in a Tottenham team because we didn't have a big range of midfielders at the time. So he came in and played. As soon as we started we brought midfielders in, Bentaleb was straight out the team.
I'll tell you what.
I'll let Chris. I'll see if Chris's memory is closer to mine or closer to yours. I'll tell.
And remember, I'm the oldest, so I know that I've got a long memory.
But the oldest, so maybe it's had the longest to start to
deterioration. I will send our Nabil, our beloved Nabil, to West Ham. Right.
Oh, goodbye, Nabil. You sweet
Yeah.
prince.
See you later, mate. I will send him on a bench.
I see something.
And at one end of that bench, will be Oliver Skip, and on the other end of that bench will be Gallagher. So they can all get lost to West Ham. So
I like it. I knew you were trying to break.
and our bench.
I could
They
hear
can
it.
take the bench with them.
I could hear it. I was like, he's breaking the rules. How's he doing it? How's he breaking the rules right now?
Brilliant.
There it goes. And you just bent them. I like that. But if you had to keep
just
one to
bent
play
it.
for, if you had to keep a player to start for Spurs, Conor Gallagher or Skippy.
Gallagher.
I basically just
You know,
want everyone to
Colin,
say that they wanted a Chelsea player over a Spurs player.
I think a lot of us had hopes for Nabil Bentaleb to be what a Gallagher is to Chelsea now, if that makes sense.
I think he
I
could
can
have been.
understand why you feel like that about him, because he was supposed to be what a Gallagher is to Chelsea. That's what he was supposed
sick.
to be
He was
for
the
us.
golden child. He was.
And I can totally see the
He was like
nostalgia.
Sar mixed with Dembele. That was how good he was.
When you offer up two absolute stinking players, what do you expect us to answer?
The
Honestly,
Chelsea player, and then I
You've
want to
given-
laugh at you,
but
and then I
you've
get
given
to
us
laugh
two
at you again.
England players. Gallagher's an England international, right? Gallagher's playing in the Premiership, first team player, captain, always in the side. Against Skippy, who hardly gets a look in, and Bentaleb, who's a bloody Z-lister of a player.
Bentaleb was class and only got taken out of the club because he didn't get on with the
Did you-
manager.
Sorry, can I just ask you a question? Did you have cataracts in your eyes at a younger age?
It runs in my family.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to
Yeah.
hear that.
Yeah,
Sorry to hear that.
no, I watched. He was exciting. He was progressive. He moved the ball forward. He took risks.
So for the chat then, right? So Kate's coming with she keep Gallagher, bench Bentaleb, send Skip to West Ham.
I
Ellie's
can agree
saying-
with that.
Ellie's saying keep Gallagher,
Yeah.
bench Skip, Bentaleb to West Ham. Jim, diplomatic, says all to West Ham. We need better.
That's what I said.
Trying to break
Uh,
the rules. Trying to break the rules.
Swimmaster saying keep Gallagher, bench Skip, sell Bentoncourt.
Benton,
I
so we're
wouldn't
selling
even sell-
Bentoncourt?
Yeah,
I wouldn't even
to
sell him.
West,
I'd just
to West
get rid of
Ham.
him.
Yeah. Although Audio Artisan says Skip ain't fit to lace Bentaleb's boots. Remember the assist in the North London derby. Skip could never do that.
Audio Artisan is a G.
Yeah, but
Coming
I
in
argue that.
clutch.
I argue that by saying that Bill Bentaleb couldn't have pulled that goal against Chelsea either that Skippy did.
There you go. Because a player's done one thing in his lifetime, it makes them great in some people's eyes. Spurs Scott says, no, I've got blinkers on. This game is painful. And Ellie's saying, get your if, buts and monkey nuts from Just the Go Who Loves Spurs. Check out the merchandise.
Check it out, guys.
Kate saying, Bentaleb is a Primark version of Gallagher. And Skip is a Primark version of Bentaleb. And Højbjerg is a Primark version of Skip. Cool, some people shop in Primark. God.
I'm not me.
Chris, I hear you're quite the carpenter making those benches at West Ham. Daniel Lee says Bentaleb flopped at Newcastle as well. And
Yeah,
Spurs squad says, shicks, we signed them. And Ellie's finishing up with Skip peaked with that goal at Chelsea. Exactly what
we're gonna have to
Leo said.
We're gonna show a little more respect to Bentaleb. Just saying.
I'm going to star that for a second and come back to that for you, Pramvat. Just Future says, what did Skip do to have a divot taken out of his face at Liverpool?
Hey, that was AI. AI did that. Sorry. It did
Right,
not do a good
We
job.
have a question, and Pramvat is saying, what are our thoughts on Højlund? We are a football channel, so we can talk about others. Højlund, the Manchester United striker. Thoughts on him, Chris?
Yeah, he's got a lot to prove in the Premier League. It's not the same as playing for Atalanta, but he could come good. So they've obviously seen his abilities. So yeah, I mean, I like him. I like him more than Richarlison. So that says a lot.
Dang, you're gonna go out and say it like that, huh? You like him more than Richarlison. I don't think he's as complete of a player as Richarlison is. I think he's more of like a out and out number 9 than Richarlison. To me, seems more of a he can dribble he can dribble better. He can. I don't think Højlund can play on the wing.
But Højlund doesn't have to play on the wing because Højlund's a centre. Højlund's a forward, isn't he? He's a 9.
I know, but but Richarlison is a 9, but he's also a winger depending on the
Richarlison's
day.
Richarlison's a 9 for Brazil, or was a 9 for Brazil.
But that doesn't mean anything.
for Watford,
No,
I'm
no.
talking about for Watford, for Everton, for Spurs, he's played on the wing as well.
Listen, if we want to get better as a team, we need better than Richarlison. End of story. Simple
Yeah,
as. It's a really simple
That's what I
equation.
said an hour ago.
It's a really simple equation.
I
If we want to
play
improve,
devil's advocate
Yeah.
only.
if
I
we
just
want to
wanna
improve
see.
as a team and as a squad, we need better than Richarlison. End of story.
Richarlison, same Richarlison's Brazil's number 9, and then you compare him to Ronaldo Nazario, Romario, and all these players is an insult to football. I mean, can we just think about what realm of football we're talking about here, where Richarlison is Brazil's number 9 against Ronaldo Nazario de Lima, Romario, and all these greats that have come before him, right? And Richarlison is Brazil's number 9. Go away.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
not to you, not to you three.
But what I was saying, Chris, I was trying to say in jest to say he's not our number 9, he's Brazil's number 9. That's the way I meant it.
Oh yeah, well they can have him.
They can have him. That's the way I meant it. I didn't mean
they can take him back to Curitiba or wherever he came from.
It wasn't to have to like pepper against the other Brazilian strikers.
Oh no.
I'm the one that said for quite a while the 2 Brazilians or so-called Brazilians at Tottenham, do they actually have Brazilian passports? Is what I've questioned for a long time. So anyway, without that saying that, Leo, what do you think on Højlund at Man United, mate?
That was a good one, Jose. That was a good one. I don't think anybody's really stopped to look at their passports, bro. Look, Højlund reminds me of Richarlison. Of course he does. But the way he reminds me of Richarlison is in the passion. Højlund looks like he's a hardworking player. He looks like he's going to fight for his badge.
Who would you fight, Højlund first or Richarlison?
Who would I what?
Who would you rather fight?
You know, I fancy my chances, both of them at the same time, homie.
Has this become a violent channel or something? What's going on?
It's a fair question.
It's the Americanness coming out. We want to turn everything into a fight. So I'll take it. I think I could get along well with Daniel Levy. We could get some events going at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I'm really, you know.
Are you gonna put Dana White out of business?
Just saying, I also like to gamble, which I hear he does as well. So, Dana, watch out.
Yeah.
The Ginger Ninja is coming for you, sir.
Ginger Ninja.
Right, let Leo finish up with Højlund, and then we'll come to you. Go on.
I would probably fight Richie first, Colin. Just kind of feel Højlund punches harder for some reason. I don't know why.
He's taller.
Yeah, and he's taller.
Yeah.
But look, all jokes aside, he reminds me a lot of Richarlison, and like I said, in the fact that they're willing to fight till the end for their badge. And that's what I want from my striker. And the passion when he scores the goal. When he scored his first goal, he actually cried, which reminds me a lot of Richarlison, right? When he bagged the double in the Champions League, he went to his dad and was crying. And I can appreciate that, not for being a crybaby, but for being passionate, for having, you know, the heart, for having the love for and what it means. But at the end of the day, that's not all that counts in football. He's at Manchester United. They're having their own issues. They're having their own identity problems. So are they fit into his
identity crisis? Pigeon John,
Yeah,
Identity Crisis. I don't know if you guys heard that one, where you're from, if that made it to where you guys live. The rapper Pigeon John, Identity Crisis. Oh, well.
No.
So Pranva asked the question, and he's going to bed now because it's like 3:16 for him in the morning. He's thanking us for answering the question for him. He's in India.
Homie.
But if you've gone already and you get this on playback, Pranva, my answer for you on Højlund is I rate Højlund. I have done from day one. I saw him play for Man United.
He's not talking shit.
He hasn't learned the patterns of play for Manchester United yet. But once he learns that, I think he will score hatfuls of goals. He has got pace. He has got lots and lots of pace. He has got power. He's good in the air, and his first touch is excellent for a centre forward.
Oh, yeah.
His first touches are excellent.
You guys know a Ford F-150? You guys know those? The truck?
Oh yeah.
He's a lot like a Ford F-150. He's powerful. He's fast. But he's got good steering. Good. I think that he's a lot like a truck.
I thought you said Ford. I was about to say that's a bad analogy, bro, because Fords are shy.
No, Ford F-150. That's what he is. That's what he's a Ford. He's an F-150.
Ford F-150.
Yeah. So
Chevys, baby, Chevys.
He's technically better than Richarlison.
He's a good player. He's a very good player. Yeah,
he's a good player.
I think he's better than Richarlison in my opinion. He's better than Richarlison. I would totally love to have Højlund as a Spurs player. Not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna front. I would totally switch him. Totally switch
Pra-
up.
Pramvat, it's not early for Rasmus. Rasmus is a very, very, very good player. You've got a good signing there. It'll prove to be a good signing for you. As I said, once he learns the patterns of play and you get a settled team out and stuff like that, and all learn about each other, he will score lots and lots of goals for you. He is a quality striker, mate. So hopefully the answers from us on the panel have helped you go to your pillow tonight, resting easy, knowing that Rasmus is rated by these Tottenham supporters in this chat today.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for your question.
We appreciate you. This show would be nothing
Big
without
up.
you guys. And Pranvat, you're always welcome. You can come on the show, man. Let us know if you'd love to be on the show. We'd love to have you every Tuesday. Fan channels or fan shows. So it's a good question.
You've got Supermaster saying, Ellie, what colour house were you at school? I was in yellow. Is it only private schools that had colours? Because when I went to school, we didn't have colours. We had houses.
No.
We had houses that were named, but we didn't have colours.
We had.
Yeah, I had everything.
We had both.
It wasn't
depending
my
on the
school.
grade.
Right, have you got anything else for us, Colin?
Real quick. Yeah, I do. But I wanted to let but it's about time to go. It's been about 2 hours. I wanted to let everybody know this beautiful baby that was my car is dead. It died. I was hit by an idiot that didn't have any insurance and so didn't stop. And my insurance is mad. And anyway, started get Colin a new car fund. And the PayPal link to the fundraiser is here. If you ever would like to throw $1 in there, a shilling, trying to think of all denominations of money.
Euro.
Anything. I'll take any denomination you got. All of them. So if you got anything, toss it my way. I appreciate you, and I'll get you back whenever I make it as a big software developer. But yeah, guys, other than that, when it comes to the game, let me get that ugly, sad picture off of here. They total a car just for that. You'd think they could do some work and fix it. I'd pay for insurance, but they're like, no, it's gone. It's done. So out of this shit performance, who is your best performer today? Jose?
What, out of the Tottenham team?
Yeah, it would have
Who do
to
I
be.
think played the best?
There's no question, right?
Yeah, there's only one player who I thought had an outstanding game.
Vicario.
Yeah, Big Vic, Big Vic played really well.
Would that be the same?
Although saying that, I thought Van der Ven played well as well, though.
Yeah.
I did think Van der Ven put a shift in. I don't think Van der Ven did much wrong today, to be honest.
No, except for not being deployed at fucking left back. Sorry for my language, but dang, that he could have said, "Coach, listen, I know I'm only 22. I know you're the coach. I know you're a scary Australian guy, but I think I'm gonna be better at left back." And maybe we could have seen it. So best performer, is that going to be unanimous? Hold your hand up if you disagree.
I think it's two. I've got two. It's Vicario and Van der Ven. They're the two that get
me
mine.
too. Yeah, two.
Yeah, Vicario, Van der Ven. They're equally for different reasons, but equally put in. They were a better performance today.
But you know what they say, that if when your keeper's one of the best players, your team's got a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I'm trying to load my F.
I do actually want to give an honorable mention to for player of the game, or however you want to put it. It's for the guy that plays the trumpet at the beginning of the match. He was fucking on point at the beginning of the match, and
I did hear him.
I would have thought hearing that would fire you up to go out and to pwn Wolves, right? So I definitely think on the day the guy that plays the trumpet,
he sounded
was
good.
the best performer.
He sounded like maybe it's a bugle, like he should be like in a World War I,
Well, whatever instrument it is, he showed a ton more heart than some of our players did today. I'll tell you that much, my homie.
If it's not a bugle, I apologize, but I think it's a bugle. But yeah, to the player of the instrument, you did a great job. That is very true.
it was a beagle. He was
He was
flying up a dog's backside.
Wow, I didn't know a beagle could make that noise. Once you learn the stuff you learn on my show, it's educational as well as about football. You learn just things about life and how stuff works.
Free of charge.
So guys, we've got best performer. What about worst performer?
Oh,
Start
that's
we'll
easy.
start with Chris.
Emerson.
Emerson sucks. So I had a friend over today, Sean, Cosmic Sean, is in the chat a lot. Sean was over for the match, and I just kept saying, whenever the team sheet came out, I said, this is such a boring team sheet. I was like, this is so boring. There's absolutely no risk being taken here. Boring. I said, and this guy, Emerson, fucking sucks. I said, he should be playing an American sport. I was like, anything, like some kind of track, like, you know, he's an athlete, but he does not have the brain to play football. And Sean, during the match, was like, you're right, he sucks. This guy's the worst guy on the pitch. And so I'm glad that in one match he did see it and can tell. That gave me hope, too, that Sean's learning the game. He's a brand new student of the game. I'm teaching him everything that I know. So it's watch out. This could be bad for him. But teaching Sean everything about football. And, he could tell that Emerson was the worst. Would you agree, Leo? Emerson was the worst performer on the pitch?
It's hard to kind of narrow it down.
It all was so shit, right?
No, I mean, apart from that, Colin, if I'm honest with you, my homie, my captain needs to be showing a little bit more passion. He needs to be leading his team a little bit better. And I think Sonny, whether or not he was good or bad on the day, being the captain, I think maybe if our team is going to lack any type of identity, if our team's going to lack any type of nuts, or sorry for saying it like that, but if we're going to lack the cojones, it's because our captain is lacking them, right? Our captain is the one that's leading us out to fight. And I think I expect a little bit more from our captain. Not saying that I want him to score every goal like Harry Kane would carry us, but I mean, try it, man. Go for it. You know what I mean? That's all I can ask. Go for it. Try and grab the game by the scruff of the neck and make something of it. But he's not beating his guys, and you know, whatever. He's a victim of unfortunate circumstances, as is Richarlison. So yeah, I just want to see a little bit more effort from the guy we're calling our captain, just like Kuti did when Kuti was filling in that spot when Son was gone. You could see that he was trying to be more of a leader to the team, and I think Sonny, he's a leader. But is he a leader of men? Is one thing, right? Can he lead people, or can he not?
See, we must see two captains. It's like Sonny's good at that, like pregame shit, like where he gets everybody together and he's like, "Come on, guys, we're gonna team up. We're all gonna show these fans, these traveling fans that at Brighton, that we're all here together and we're all part of the same group." And I love that. But during the match, is he gonna say, "Hey, Romero, stay the fuck back. Like, and if you put another tackle like that, I'm going to punch you in the ear, you freaking turd."
And I'm not saying he was bad, Colin. I'm not saying he had a bad game. I'm not saying he was our worst performer. All I'm saying is that I wish I could see more from our captain.
Clip it. Leo said Sonny was the worst.
That's right. That's right. That's what it'll be twisted as.
On Talking Ball. Everybody remember, on Talking Ball, Leo says that he does not like Sonny.
Whilst we've got people still here, I just want to highlight the people that we've got here in the on the show. So please go and support Chris over at Meta Football TV. The link's there for Chris. So please, if you haven't done so already, go and show some love. Go and support Chris.
It's a very European channel, so kiss it on the mouth while you're there.
And then we also have Senor Leo. Please go over and support Leo at the Mile High Hotspur 1882. Yeah, so if you haven't done so already, guys, for some of you that are here that may not have done so already, please help these guys. Go over, support Chris.
Isn't there another guy we know?
And then also, as well, if you haven't done so already, please come and give me some love over at LTL Cockerel, because the main part of the people that I'm seeing here at the moment are all on Talk and Ball. So yeah, show everybody some love. And if you're over watching at LTEL, come and support over at Talk and Ball as well. Sorry, carry on, Colin, with what you were saying, mate. I just want to make sure that we've got the people that are here already.
Good. Another thing I want to do is say a big thanks to everybody who has joined. The memberships are available in the channel now. They've been available for a while since we hit the 500, and that's been a while ago. But guys, you can become a member. Gang violence and gangs are bad, but our little gang is called La Familia, and we have it's basically it ensures that you get a spot on the Tuesday La Familia call-in shows.
Yeah, so
Where
members will be coming on Tuesday. It'll be our second members calling show.
yep,
So
get excited,
everybody
get
that's a
excited.
member, if you've got a membership, you're more than welcome, because it'll be in the community page just for members, the link, and you'll be able to come on, have your say.
Yeah.
We're easygoing. You can speak about anything you want. Safe space here. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Just wanted to
don't
say-
get us banned from YouTube, at least not a full ban, like a 30-day ban at most, please.
Tu madre,
Oh, tu madre,
Oh,
mi
Mama.
madre.
mama. There's mama, tu madre. Hi, Julie. Hope you're
she's
feeling
the best.
better.
She's
All the best from us
she's-
all.
Yeah, she's not doing too good. She took herself off the pain medicine and took some weaker pain medicine because she's tough like that. She's a mom. Moms can't be on pain medicine. It'll take them off their game. The sharpness will be gone. How are they gonna like hit you with the shoe or do other typical mom stuff if they're off their game? So she's raw dogging the pain like a boss. But yeah, big up to my mom.
So is that all you get? You get your shoe thrown at you? Because normally the women over here tend to throw their remote controls at you.
Oh, she'll
the
throw
new-
anything that's close by at me.
The pneumatic drill we
And
get
she
as well.
she just hits me sometimes. Like she's not very strong, so it doesn't really hurt. But yeah, I mean, she'll just like she just throws punches too if you're within range. You gotta watch out. She pretends to be innocent, but she is a little abusive. But it's okay. It's okay.
Right, last question before we go. We've got another question that's coming. Your mum's saying that we're liars. Yeah. Right, we've got the last question. We're gonna answer. Right, for everybody on the panel, Pramvat has come with, guys. Son is the best Asian player ever. Is that a fact, or is that just an opinion?
I want to go last on this because there's one more thing I want to do with the photo. But you guys go.
Well,
I'll go last.
you got the Iranian guy, haven't you? Who's pretty emblematic. Can't remember his name.
Well, the one that's made the most appearances for.
Yeah, he's pretty. Yeah, but then I don't know whether that's comparable in titles and whatnot.
Right.
But he's pretty emblematic as well. So Ever's so broad. Totally respectable as a player, Son, but you've got others as well. And a lot of it does depend on your own personal taste and the time and your age and what you've grown up to watch and what you appreciate and etc. So it could be opinion.
What about to you?
More than fact. So
What about for you though, Chris?
for me, that would be my answer. So it's not for me. It's more an opinion than a fact.
I'm with you. I'm just giving you trouble.
What about you, Leo? Would you reckon on this question?
That's tough. I do agree with what Chris was saying about it's almost generational, and even kind of demographical, because depending on where you're at, you're not going to see or hear about tons of these players. Sonny is one of the most marketable for sure ever. That's for sure.
It's not going to be sunny forever. How about that?
No, and look, as much as I wish Sonny could go down as the GOAT, I want my kids to see better football than what I've watched. I want my grandkids to see better football, and I want better kids. And that just means these players are going to have to be better, right? I want to be old watching Tottenham play, and maybe the next Sonny comes in, and I want him to be even better, right? So no, I never want to hinder anybody's performance or expectations. I want the best.
Well, we've got players coming through right now. Like I would say, Sonny, right now, I don't think you can deny it. Right now, currently, it's
arguably right now. There's nobody better.
But there are players coming through though that might be.
But you've had others as well. Park Ji-sung, who played for PSG.
Park Ji-sung was a hell of a player.
For sure.
You had Shinji Kagawa from
hell of a
Dortmund.
player.
I mean, Come on, you've got so many players that
And
aren't
now,
that
and
old.
now you've got Lee Kang In. You've got, you know what I mean. You've got Huang Hee-chan.
There was a left back that played for Celtic and Inter for a long time,
I know
Nagamoto or something like
exactly.
that. Excellent player as well.
Yeah.
A free kick.
He comes
on
up
him,
as a
legal
legend.
free
He comes
kick.
up as a legend on
Yeah.
FIFA.
Yeah, I mean,
the-
it's all up to everybody's interpretation, honestly.
Yes, correct. It's almost rhetorical. You don't really have to answer it. It's yeah. But the fact that what do we mean? But we were talking about top. Yeah, I think someone asked the question. What does a top Premiership player mean? What does top mean? I think that was before Leo came in. But now we're talking about best age. What does best mean? Because Sonny is not a Park Ji-sung, because Park Ji-sung could run all day and he could stick on your man and do a man mark in 90 minutes, right? Shinji Kagawa is technically better than Son, but then Son could score more. I mean, best is so broad, and what do we mean by best? I mean, it's you have to define it. You have to be a bit more. It's a good question, but
hard to answer.
It's I think it is hard to answer. With your hand on your heart, maybe your colours say, yeah, of course he is because he's a Spurs player. But honestly, what does best mean? It's like picking the best guitarist.
Yeah,
Who's the
exactly
best
right,
guitarist?
bro. Exactly right. Let's just sit back and enjoy the time we have left, because we don't have much more sunny time
For
left.
sure. There's going to be a player. We've got players like the fellow, the defender, the Korean defender that plays for Napoli,
Kim Min-jae.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Kim
But here's what I wanted to talk about, you guys. So we've got some shows coming up.
Let me just answer this for a second. So what I've done, sorry, Colin, let me just answer this. What I've done, because you've asked us a question, Pramvat, and I, for one, am not qualified to answer that question fully. So what I've done is I've gone back and I've looked at the royalty, i.e., I'm looking at the Asia Footballer of the Year awards. Now, the awards went up to 1992, and they were then not awarded from 1993 to 2019. But in the last 3 editions, all 3 have been won by Son Heung-min.
Yeah.
So he won it in 2020, 2021, 2022. However, there is a guy called Kim Jo-sung, who also won it for 3 years, who was also South Korean, and he won it in 89, 90, 91. They're the only players to have won the Asian Player of the Year 3 times.
Yeah,
that's bearing in mind. Well, no, 3 times in total anyway. I know it's consecutively, but 3 times in total. Yeah, but I don't know whether the 2023 has been awarded, but Son Heung-min won in 2020, 21, 22. So therefore, as for the greatest player, Asian player, I can only assume that if 2 people hold 3 each, then they're equals. Yeah. But that could be broken dependent on who the 2023 year one goes to. Because if that then went to Son Heung-min, then he would hold 4 outright. Hopefully that answers the question for you, lads. Sorry for you, Pramvat.
Pramvat, thank you for the questions. Like
pick up Pramvat.
The questions are what make the show beautiful. We get to interact with you guys, learn more about you guys. I know I sound corny. I always say this, but I'm trying to create a family, a football loving family. That's why I'm going to be adding in stuff from my local team, Nashville SC, as the MLS season begins. So there will be some more content. If you guys don't like it, please don't leave the channel. Just skip out of it. I'll make it clear in the thumbnail whether it's going to be Spurs or it's going to be Nashville. So that is coming. Just wanted to let everybody know the season is officially begun. So I will be making it so as many games as possible. Leo, I'm kind of stealing a lot of your vibe from your channel. And it's going to be like my journey. I have a 2 hours and 30-minute drive to the matches. And so I'm going to detail the trip and everything like that. And then the match itself, it's going to be awesome. I'm part of a supporters group called the Bootleggers. And it's going to be a really, really good time.
Colin, your team is Nashville?
Yeah.
So, just to chime in here, I'm actually getting the homies from Colorado Spurs gathered around, and we're going to the Colorado Rapids Nashville game, which is the Rapids home opener.
I'll be bro. I
But
mean,
it's in here. It's here. It's not there. It's here.
oh well, I had to go. I love.
Yeah,
I
but
love
you,
Colorado.
but you mad Americans,
We'll go. Yeah, we'll
you
take
jump
it.
in a car and you travel 18 hours on a drive.
Especially if I can get, especially if I get channel content out of it. Jose, of
Here
course.
in this country, sorry, not even in my country, in Europe, we find that absolutely bonkers and crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
That you'll go and travel 18 hours in a car to travel somewhere. But in America, because it's such a big country, for you, it's like, it's easy.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
really.
go.
I know it's 2.5 hours. I call it my local team. It's 2.5 hours away, but that shit. I mean, that's an easy drive.
How
Leo,
far
tell
would
you.
your drive be to Leo, to Colorado?
that's probably
At
about
least
it.
at least 12.
Yeah. So my homie Parker just moved to Indiana. I think it was a 16-hour
Yeah,
trip.
I made it in 12, but I was hurrying.
But
Yeah.
you guys do it like that. When you talk about it, it's like you're brushing your shoulder. We talk about that. We're going through. If we were to do that drive of 16 hours, especially in Europe, you're probably going into about maybe 5 or 6 different countries.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
dope.
You're crossing
Or more.
borders, or
I
if
wish,
not more.
I wish it was
depending
like
which
that.
route- Depending
But
which
it's kind
route
of,
you're taking.
honestly, it's kind of like that here. Like you go into different states,
Yeah,
and it feels like you've been into a different country.
We're talking countries, though. Countries.
But if you go into a different
everywhere you go.
some different states you go to, and it feels like it's a different country. And Leo will tell you, especially some of those southern states. If you're a Midwestern guy like me or a more northern guy, the South is weird.
South
no
is
offense
different.
to the South, but it is different, and it
Mhm.
takes some getting used to. In the mid, and then if you go to places like New York, it's totally different. Like where I'm at, you can be nice and you can talk to strangers. A person can be walking down the street and you say, "Hey, buddy, how are you?" And they'd be like, "Oh, good. How are you?" And you'll talk for a while because chances are your dad knows their dad. Somebody knows somebody, and you'll just shoot the shit. Some places you get punched in the face for talking to people like that comfortably. They're like, "Wait, who are you?"
What you say about my mama, boy?
Yeah, huh?
What
You know
say
who?
about my
Who
mama?
do you know? And you're like, no one. I don't know anyone. Sorry. But okay. And guys, real quick too. Chris mentioned that.
Yeah.
Go on, Chris.
Thank you. I know there's a lot of people who have been asking about me. Well, maybe about 3 or 4, which is to me is a lot. And there's only a certain amount of people that know what's been going on with me personally, and that's brewing in the background. I don't want to bring a damper on the show because it's been brilliant, but because I've sort of kind of finished the my football badge, and I've got a lot more free time up, I'll probably be coming back to my show and making guest appearances, whatever. But the main reason why I was away is through the ill health of my mother, and we lost her in December. So unfortunately, that has kept me away as well. And I just wanted to say that that was another reason why I haven't been around so much. For those who have always shown me love from day one, mainly Jose, because we've been in this, since day one together, and Colin for showing me a lot of love and support as well, since we started talking, which hasn't been a lot, but I've always been welcomed on this show. And since it's been my comeback, so to speak, I just wanted to explain a little bit why I haven't been around, because even though a lot of people can't stand me, and a lot of people can and do show a lot of love, I think that it was only fitting that the first time I came back to internet and this really weird and lovely and strange and sometimes horrible world, I thought an explanation was fitting. So I wanted to dedicate
anybody
this.
can't stand you.
No, yeah, that's fine. But I just wanted to dedicate these minutes on air to my mother and all the people that have shown love to me since day one. And I love everybody. Everybody's free to their own opinion, and no hard feelings on my behalf. And let's move forward. And that's basically it. Thank you for the time given to me now to,
Bro, I just want to tell you, homie, that I'm sending you a huge hug, my homie. I'm probably one of the biggest mama's boys anybody will ever meet.
I talked to
And
my
I
mom
couldn't
like
picture my
twice a
life without
day.
my mom, homie. So
It's embarrassing.
that's why I actually enjoy very much so Colin's show, because the interaction with his mom, and because
It is
I'm a
nice.
spoiled, my homie. I really am. I'm very
Good.
close to my mom, and so yes, I just hope you are all right, and I hope everything for you guys is going the way it should be,
For sure.
considering the
Yeah.
circumstances.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
yeah. Big love, Chris. We'll talk more off air, of course.
Yes. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you for the time.
And one last thing I wanted to
He's
say.
saying
Oh yes,
big
my
up to
God.
Chris and your mum. And
Thank you.
just as it so happens, Colin's mum is saying big love to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool.
Big love.
Thank you.
And sending all her support.
And
No,
now I
yeah.
feel,
It's,
and now I feel like a callous dickhead for posting this and changing the subject so hard.
no. I just wanted to take the opportunity, but thank you.
No, of course you can have. So I just wanted to say that we are doing a pre-recorded show for Ash for White Chat Lane this week. She's having the same sick that everybody across the globe that I know is getting, kind of that coughing upper chest junk. And she is going to do a pre-recorded show. This show will be premiering on El Tal Cockerel. You can't really see it down there as well. Maybe hold on, let me get. There you go. It'll be premiering on El Tal Cockerel this time instead of talking ball. We're switching things up a little bit occasionally. From just we're getting those numbers pumped up, and this is be there. God, is all I'm trying to say. So be on the lookout. If you go to El Tal Cockerel and you sub to the channel and then you hit the bell, you'll know exactly when it's going to be premiered, because we don't even know at this point. So that's good. If you want to see this show, you got to be subscribed to El Tal Cockerel, and you have to hit the bell to know when it's going to be. So just wanted to get that out there. And again, thank both Leo, Mile High Hotspur, Chris from Meta Football TV, and of course Jose El Tal Cockerel for being on the show with me today.
But sorry, Colin, we still got a plug. So on Monday morning, I'll be doing a show from El Tal Cockerel at 10 a.m.
Oh yeah,
GMT,
I forgot we're splitting it up. Duh.
At GMT, and then Colin will be doing another show on Monday as well at 4 p.m. GMT. So it'll be Colin's usual slot on 4 p.m. and I will be doing one at 10 a.m. in the morning. It's just to plug a gap on Monday morning. I'm going to do that one, and I'll probably do my mop-up show, which was quite interesting last week, where you can ask me anything. I think Leo attended the show, and there were some fantastic questions being asked by people, which meant, and a lot of them were football related and non-football related, but we got to find out about other people just through questions that were being asked, and it was absolutely brilliant. The chat got involved in the whole of the show, and I think I went on for about 2 hours, and it just absolutely flew by, and I found it a bundle of fun.
I'm glad that it went. I'm glad that it went so well. I knew it would.
Then Tuesday, Colin, we have the members calling show. Yeah.
Yes, we do have the members call-in show,
and it'll have to be a notification bell because we're not decided on the time yet. So just hit the notification bell, and the members show will be there for everyone.
Exactly, and it looks like we're gonna have to do a back and forth kind of a thing with the members call-in show. I think we're gonna have to do one week. We're gonna have to do one time, and then another time the next week to make sure that we can hit both. We have a predominantly British / American crowd for one time slot, and then predominantly another Southeast Asian and Australian time slot that we'd like to hit also. So we're going to probably go back and forth. We might even, if I feel really up to it and really crazy, I might even just do 2 shows in one day. We'll see about that. But please hit the bell, and we will let you guys know more about that. It'll be posted in the community section. Jolien is here. Oh, my God. Hey, I feel really good. This is a big deal for me. This is a troll who's made his way onto like every Spurs channel, and I've never felt like I've made it more than I do by having Jolien here. Says, can I ask Jose a question? When are you going to demand trophies? Jose, for one, why aren't you demanding trophies? And why aren't go with your direct line to Daniel Levy? I'm surprised that you haven't been demanding trophies already.
See, I haven't. My direct line first is to Usmanov. So when Usmanov tells me that we're going to win some trophies, then I'll tell Daniel Levy.
There you go. Exactly. Sorry, I just got a text real quick, but yeah, Jolien, and then Jolien says, "When will we stop being a banter club?" It's a great question. Leo, do you want to take that one?
No, we'll always be a banter club according to people like you, man. There's no need to try and convince you otherwise.
Every club's a banter club, though.
Yeah,
exactly. There's
Because all fans-
goofy shit about every club.
All fans have banter with every club. It doesn't matter.
What-
whether
what-
you're winning,
and
losing,
also,
or- doesn't
I hate
matter
people
whether
that
you're winning.
say fans are the reason that fans are to blame for things. Like it's the fans' fault that Spurs are a mediocre club, or it's a fan's fault that Levy doesn't spend. That's the biggest load of shit I've ever heard in my whole life. And I really don't want to give this stuff too much attention, but it's the one thing that grinds my gears is when fans blame other fans or act like they're better fans than other fans are. You know what I mean?
What bothers me, homie, is why people keep count of our trophy tallies. Why don't you just focus on your own team? Focus on your own team.
I think Julian's a secret Spurs supporter.
That could be
To
it,
be
man.
honest, but it's those same type of people that are like, oh, the fans are pathetic. You know, if you demand more out of the club, then you'll get.
We're finishing the show, so I'm just going to nip this on the bud now, and I'm going to say, for you call out banter club all the time. Why do fans give Levy money and go to the stadium when they want him out? I'm not saying that I want Levy out, but I will also say that we're not the four people on the panel here don't spend money at the stadium, because none of us live anywhere remotely near the stadium. So I hope that answers you, and we've given you time, given you airtime, and we've answered.
And thank you for
And
coming
big up
here.
to you,
Like I
Jordan.
said,
Yeah.
And big up to you. You
Please,
come in,
please.
you come in all the comments, you support the channels, and we welcome that. So well
Yeah,
done,
go to my
Jordan.
channel if you want to.
Yeah, Mile High Hotspur. Yeah, but
Yeah,
anyway,
the links for Leo's
Big up,
channel,
my
My High
homie.
Hotspur, and for Chris's Meta Football TV are both in the chat. So
Yep. All
there
right.
you have Leo. So if you want to come and banter some more, you have Leo there at Mile High Hotspur.
Boom.
And
I'd show you
then-
my tattoo. It's on my thigh, though. I'd have
And
to
then
like.
you also have Chris at Meta Football TV.
Thank
And
you.
if you so
Boom.
wish to come and you want to banter me on my own, then you always can come to me at El Tel Cockerel, Jolien. You're more than welcome.
Perfect. And that
And-
was. And
And
then
he's
look
coming
at
and
this.
say, may I say my condolences? Oops, sorry, I missed it. He says, may I say my condolences to the gentleman who lost his mum. Love to you.
Thank you.
Julian, it's got a
And
heart.
Spurs Squad says, great show, Cole. When you on, bro?
You got to check, but Jose will be on at 4 on Monday, and I'll be on.
No, I'm on at 10 a.m. on Monday, Spurs
And I'm
Squad. And
at
Colin's on
4.
at 4.
Sorry,
and
time
then-
zone.
And then we're also on for the member show. It's alternating 4 p.m. GMT and 10 p.m. GMT in order to catch the different members that we have. So this Tuesday is 10 p.m. GMT, so we can get all the Asian fans, because for them it will be between 6 and 9 in the morning. So we catch all them.
That's it.
And obviously the people in North America, it's a decent time for them. It's like 3, 4, and 5 in the afternoon. So
Yeah,
it'd be a decent time. So
can't
we're
beat
gonna
it.
go. We're going to go away from the European time. We will get some Europeans as well, because in Europe it'll be 10 and 11 o'clock in the evening. So we'll get some Europeans as well. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that all the members get fair play. If you become a member, then we've got to give you something in return. So we're trying to capture everybody.
And we're headed out the door. Elijah says, "Am I welcome here? Come on, you Gunners!
Yeah,
Everybody's welcome here.
Everyone's welcome. Welcome, Elijah.
Yes,
Nice to see you.
We are Spurs, as you probably have guessed, but we just love football in general. But hey, we are leaving for the day. We got Otter in here as well. Everybody is heading in as we're heading out. But guys, hit the bell. You'll see the next one, and we'll see you. We can't wait. It's been awesome. Everybody, should I play him out with the song?
Yes. Yeah. And so well done, everyone. Thank you for all being here on the
Thank
chat.
you, guys.
Leo, thank you. Chris,
And-
thank you. And
Thank
to
you.
my
Pleasure.
co-host, Colin, thank you.
and my last time whoring out, guys. My car used to look like this. Now it looks like this, and the insurance company took it. And if you guys want to donate some cheddar towards the new ride, the link is in the banner at the bottom there. Much appreciated, guys. And I'll play us out. It's been real. Love you guys. And my team's got James Madison. What about yours? Here we go. And away we go.
My team has got James Madison. James Madison is what we need. Whoa, thank God we got James Madison. This kid plays ball like you would never believe. Whoa.
Whoa, you guys, I forgot to take us off of here.